This is the Big O Show.
Big O, we told you we ain't playing no games, man. It's just surely probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big O Show.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yo, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio show with Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams, from the Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Friday Pablo in the Big O Show.
On the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll. Locked on the morning show. Big O. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk live and direct. Because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise to survive, it's the best of the best. He's got the fans, got the heat, he's the best of the best. Big O, the only talking sports with a style.
Break it a morning, it's Big O-N. Thank you for tuning in, keeping you glued in. Stay tuned, because right here's where the rumors in. Same place, because right here some of them begin. Simply call and just state your opinion. Real talk, sports talks, the Big O Show. Yeah, you love it, yeah, you like it, call him and let him know.
Culture, probably Pablo, now introducing the man of the hour, Big O, a.k.a. Orlando Alcigaris. Yeah.
Hope you all are doing well. There we go. Hialeah T-Bread chimes in first. T-Bread, I love it. 2 T-Breads in this studio and a T-Bread at number 1. But we thank all of you already that are chiming in the morning, joining in on the YouTube chat board. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all out there for being on with us. And first of all, I want to apologize for yesterday. We had some technical snafus. We weren't able to make it on, and so unfortunately we did a small podcast, and we were able to post that. If you got a little bit of a little flavor there, we got the audio side. I see my man JG Long is on all the way from Malaysia. I love it. Jay, love it. He's been a sponsor, or not a sponsor, a supporter for a long, long time. JG has been on with us for a while. So appreciate you chiming in all the way from Malaysia. What do you think about that? Somebody tuning in from Malaysia, huh?
That's on the other side of the world.
Yes, it is.
Man.
Yes, it is. And his
Thank you.
JG, by the way, you do a very good job with your Instagram. It's actually a really cool feed. So any of you out there, if you want to follow him on Instagram, you get life over in Malaysia, and he'll show you. And it's not a bad life, actually, he's living out there. Anyway. So welcome aboard. We will rock and roll today. Yeah, we started a little early today. You can imagine I had it ready, and I was like, okay, well, we couldn't get the whole show on yesterday. Well, we couldn't get the show at all on yesterday, but we were able to at least get a little bit of audio. I figured, all right, we'll be able to maybe make up a little bit more and talk a little bit more today. I got a whole bunch of things to talk about today on the program. Remember, you can reach out to us on the YouTube chat board, on the super chat, obviously on email, Orlando at BigORadioShow.com, Orlando at BigORadioShow.com. Well, you see it right there, but those that are on the podcast, they're not watching. So later on, whoever listens to this, you can always email me if you got a question, a comment, an insult, whatever it is, Orlando at BigORadioShow.com. And, of course, on the accidentlawfirm.com text line 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line 786-322-1105 if you want to get in here on the program. All right, so a bunch of things to talk about. First of all, it's pretty cool that we've got sports coming right around the corner. Unfortunately, Inter finished their run in the tournament. Now they've got to wait about a month until the season starts, and I don't know what's going to happen with the season because obviously they're not in a bubble anymore. And I think that that's going to be a little bit of a problem for all these sports. And we'll get into those conversations, too, throughout the day here on the program. But it's pretty cool because Friday, the Marlins open up against the Phillies. And Thursday, your Yankees take on the Nationals. It'll be Garrett Cole and Max Scherzer on the mound. And so it's really cool that, like, real sports that actually count are going to start. Now, I don't know how long they're going to get baseball going because, who knows, man? Without what's it called, the bubble, I think it's going to be near impossible to keep this thing going. I think players are going to pick up COVID and they're going to spread it, and it's not going to be a good thing. So I don't hold a lot of hope for them to continue in baseball, but it's coming. NBA, we right around the corner, man. This is awesome. Thursday, July 30th, that's next week. TNT, Jazz in New Orleans at 6:30. At 9, it's Clippers and Lakers. So they give us, one marquee game. I can't call Jazz New Orleans a marquee game, but Jazz are a marquee team. New Orleans is not there yet. But still, obviously I know why they did what they did, obviously because of Zion and that whole thing that they were trying to, help promote it and all of that. So what's it called? Then we've got August 1st, because on Thursday, the NBA starts August 1st at 1 o'clock. Okay, so on a Saturday at 1 is when your Heat season starts, or restarts, actually, when they take on the Nuggets. So that's going to be really, really cool. And then on Monday, they play again. On the 3rd, they take on the Raptors. Now, they will have a preseason game tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, Wednesday. Sacramento and Miami will play in a preseason game. So we've got, like, sports right around the corner. The Panthers, Wednesday, 29th, next week, they will, at noon, take on the Lightning in a preseason-like matchup. And then on August 1st, they will start their series against the Islanders. And we'll see if, they'll be able to, advance. I would love to see the Panthers have some kind of success in the postseason. I don't have a lot of hope for it. I think I've told you guys over and over again that I've kind of given up already on Dale Talon. I just think that everything that he did in Chicago is fantastic, but he really hasn't done anything here in 10 years. And I don't really expect much from this team. I would love to be wrong. I would love to see the Panthers have some kind of success. So it'll be a lot of fun. But the good thing is we've got local sports coming back now, How long some of this will last, we'll find out. The good thing is the NBA and the NHL, they're going to be able to play out their string. The question is, how long will they last is the thing, right? I think Miami has a chance at maybe advancing a round, no more than that. I don't really expect the Panthers to advance at all. I think they're going to lose to the Islanders like they normally do in clutch moments. So this team has never proven to be a tough team, and so that's why I don't have a lot of hope for them, unfortunately. But the good thing is that now we've got the local sports coming, so it starts to change now. Now we get to talk about the damn games, you know what I mean? And that's pretty cool. It's a change. It's something that we haven't had in a while. We haven't been able to actually talk about games. For months, we've been doing this show without any actual games. Last couple of weeks here, we had the MLS games in, so we were able to talk about that. But the MLS is not at the point yet where in general sports talk, it's going to drive any kind of conversation. And obviously, they haven't made the kind of impact that wins people over. We're a bandwagon town. Us hardcore soccer people, we're going to be watching it no matter what. Hell, Saturday I'm going to go see our USL One team, you know what I mean, over at the stadium. And so, for me, I'm going to watch no matter what, and I'm into it no matter what. Even if I wasn't working with Inter, I wouldn't be able to go to the game on Saturday. That I won't be able to do. But I would have still been watching, Inter, and I would be talking about them. And unfortunately, it wasn't a good run for them. But everything with time, everything will work out. I'm not worried about that. But it's really nice that over the next couple of weeks, the show changes. You know what I mean? And now we get to talk about actual sports, playing, which is going to be a lot of fun that we'll have that in the mix. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You see who's throwing out the first pitch for Nationals Yankees?
No, I did not.
Really?
Nope.
Anthony Fauci.
Oh, well, that's a smart choice by them.
Yeah, it's an empty stadium. Obviously, nobody's going to be there except the players, and they've all been tested. I doubt he's really going to be around the players per se. You know what I mean? The question is, Dr. Fauci, when you throw that pitch to the catcher, and then he hands it back to you, put it in a box, put it in whatever, and then go wash your hands. I'm just saying. I just want to remind you of that, because I know he's going to be wearing his Nationals mask because he's a Nationals fan. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, I've seen him. He had actually a mask during one of the ventures onto Congress.
Right.
Addressing.
Right. So I found that to be cool that he'll be throwing out the first pitch for Nationals Yankees. And listen, he's kind of become the face of all of this. He's the guy we trust more than we obviously. I mean, if you trust Trump, I can't help you. But obviously, Fauci knows what the hell he's talking about, and so this is the guy that that's the guy that I count on. That's the guy that I give my trust to, and I understand that nobody's going to be perfect with this because this is new. The novel coronavirus is a thing that everybody's learning about, including the experts. But a guy like Fauci is going to know way more than I do because he's lived it, he's seen it, he's studied it. This is his life. He's got 80 years of it, so I'm going to trust a guy like that over everything else that I see. I'm certainly not going to trust DeSantis. I mean, So pretty cool to see Fauci. And now the question is, he's going to be at the bottom of the mound. Or will he be like 6 feet in front of the mound? Because, he is 80 years old. How far? He's not going to be on the mound. Okay? That man throws off the mound and he dies. Because he'll just, fall over. You know what I mean? It's just it'll be a disaster. So, Fauci will be, sometimes they put you, right at the bottom of the hill to throw the ball on the mound. He's going to be probably 6-8 feet in front of the mound. I would imagine, right? Because he's 80, bro. There's no way. And the catcher probably won't be even behind the plate. He'll probably be right at the grass edge of right in front of the plate. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting to see what kind of an arm. Will he deliver it better than Carl Lewis? Okay? Because Carl Lewis was, that was embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? Was it 50 Cent that threw it and it went I don't know. I think it hit a bird in the air over by left field or something. There have been some embarrassing throws back in the day. So that's where the pressure is on Fauci. See, while Bush Jr., I voted the first time for him. The second go-around, I wasn't going to have a second go-around of Bush Jr. Forget about that. But I will give Bush Jr. a ton of credit. He threw the best opening pitch ever by a president. Okay, I got to give him that. He threw a nice one, and he did own the Rangers. So who knows? Maybe he practiced it. Maybe he threw it in his own park a couple times, whatever. But when he did it as president, it was cool because he threw a nice pitch, put it right there. I'm pretty sure it was in the strike zone and everything. I got to give him love.
Right down the middle.
Yeah.
It's the best thing that George Jr. did.
Yes.
During that 4 year.
Yeah. Well, 8. Didn't he win the second go around?
I was talking about that 4 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
The previous 4, it's a wash,
Yeah.
But that last 4 years, it was the best thing he did.
That was a nice pitch by Bush Jr., bro. You got to give him love, bro. Got to give him love. DJ Gallagher says Fauci probably has so much pent-up anger, he'll throw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball and get signed on the spot. You never know. You never know.
There is something interesting about that first game. I don't know if you've looked or seen or heard anything about it, but Scherzer being at home hasn't been the underdog in the game. since 2016, and because he's facing Cole, he's actually the dog.
Well, okay. Well, but it's Cole and the
Right.
Yankees.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the Yankees had batting practice the other night.
Yeah, they hammered the Mets.
That wasn't a game. That was BP, dude. Like bomb after bomb after bomb, and I go, well, that's what they're known for. They are the Bronx Bombers,
Obviously,
aren't they? So,
these guys invested in some batting cages at their house and were practicing.
yeah,
Yes.
no, but they have a hell of a lineup. I mean, it's a really good lineup. It's the lineup that we knew they needed a Garrett Cole in order to, because you just asked the Rangers. For many years, they had guys that could rake. They couldn't do anything because they couldn't pitch. You know what I mean? Yankees had bad luck in the pitching department last year, terrible luck in the pitching department last year, and they never really had an ace, like a guy that could really, and now they got it. It reminds me a lot of Inter. That Inter Miami needs the ace, so everybody else falls into place. They've got Pizarro as the lead guy, and he's not a lead guy. And so, because that's one thing I've seen in 5 games, Pizarro's not your lead guy. He has to be the number 2 guy. So when they get that striker, everything changes. For the Yankees, putting Cole there puts everybody else where they belong in that rotation. And it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. I don't know if they'll ever get to the World Series or anything like that, because obviously with the coronavirus, I don't even know what's going to happen with baseball, man. It's going to be, I think, a disaster.
I was looking at it. If you do the numbers, 60 times 2.7 is exactly 162. So the value of each game is the equivalent of 2.7 games played.
All right, listen, dude, you can't struggle. You struggle and you're done. That's it.
If you pull a ball, you remember the Orioles that year, they went 0-16 or said whatever it was. Yeah, bye.
Or the Red Sox. The Red Sox started off really bad one year, and then they exploded and took over first place. And then in the month of September, their entire season went back to crap again, and they dropped out of and the Yankees ended up winning that division. And it was like a weird year but the Sox can't start that way. Nobody can start. You can't start slow.
Last year, the World Series champs were
right.
19 and 31.
Yeah.
After 50, you're done.
You're done. So, yeah, I'm with you there. Matthew says Carly Rae Jepsen couldn't throw past the mound. Yeah, I remember that one too. That one was really, really bad also. Yeah. 50 was embarrassing, right? You know the thing about 50 Cent, when I saw him throw that ball, you can look, those of us that played baseball, you can tell when somebody doesn't play baseball. That's all, right? 50 probably shot a basketball, maybe threw a football, but you could tell he never played baseball. Because you throw a dart, it's different than throwing a ball. It's different than throwing a football. It's different than throwing anything. Everything changes. A softball, it's different than a baseball. Everything, the motion, the release, everything is different depending on what you're throwing. And when you throw a baseball, it's completely different than a football. It's completely different. A basketball, you shoot. You don't really throw. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different delivery. And you could tell people that have never, like Carl Lewis, you can tell he never plays. Track athlete, one of the greatest of all time. He can't sing and he can't throw a baseball. That's all. You know, there's no shame in that, dude. You're Carl Lewis. We know where you're great, and we will never get there, bro. We admire you for that. We don't admire, I can throw with my left hand better than Carl Lewis and 50 Cent. And I don't throw with my left. I throw with my right. You know what I mean? But it's just, yeah, you can tell when somebody's never played baseball before and they're like spraying the ball all over the place.
Yeah, but let me say this. At some point in your life, you would think you have tossed or thrown something.
Right.
Whatever. A
right.
pen, thrown a piece of paper in class, wadded up to hit somebody. Mm-hmm. You've thrown something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. George says, Dr. Fauci has been wrong about this as much as he's been right. You're wrong, George, because he has not been that wrong. I get it, bro. If you're a Trumpy and you want to follow Trump and you want to use his line and all that stuff, George, go ahead, bro. Go ahead. He's right more than anybody else there. That's all I know. Okay? He's the one that continues to tell you to space out and mask. Meanwhile, the government, the guy that leads the government, he still doesn't wear a mask. Oh, no, I'll give them a choice. So I guess, George, you go with Trump, right? Let me give Americans a choice. There's no choice here, dude. Okay? There's no choice, George. You wear a damn mask and you keep your space. That's what Fauci's been preaching forever. All right? He has stayed steadfast on that. He didn't want to reopen as quick as all these other states. Only thing is that the White House tries to muzzle him. Now they care because he continues to talk in other places. And I hear his interviews. You probably don't, George, anymore because you're a Trumpy and you don't want to follow him. That's all. And you want to listen, dude. If you're listening to Trump, you're done. You're done. You couldn't be more wrong about anything. Yesterday, he was lying, flat out lying about the death rate. He was telling people, no, we have one of the best in the world. No, dude, we are one of the worst. But, he believes whatever he wants, and then he tells his people, and his people then believe it. But if you want to think that Fauci has been as wrong as anybody else, please. Come on. Let's go.
Well, that's that clip they pulled out.
Let's go. Come on.
That's that clip they pulled out last week that goes back to February when there was the inkling of this, and nobody was saying we needed to wear masks.
No, at that time, no.
Not 2 or 3 minutes later in that interview, he says it would probably be a safe and good idea to wear a mask. They didn't even play it all the way through.
In March, everybody was telling you not to wear a mask because they didn't want people going crazy and taking the PPE from the hospitals because none of the hospitals had enough PPE. So they were afraid that if you caused a panic, everybody would go get a mask, and then there's nothing for the hospitals. Once the hospitals,
we saw it with toilet paper, right?
Right. Once the hospitals got their mask, you saw how the tune changed. Oh, go wear your mask, because they didn't want the chaos to take away from the hospital, which is the priority at that moment. Let's get the PPE to the people there. Only nutbags like me ordered N95 masks back in March. Okay? Only nutbags like me.
Give yourself credit. That was an N99 mask, actually.
N99, whatever, yeah. And I only got it because the N95 were out, and I saw N99, and I go, well, all right, I'll do that, and whatever. And they look cool, so whatever, and that's it. But come on, man. Fauci's been more right than anybody else in this whole thing. He's the guy you got to follow. You know what I mean? And let me also explain to the people out there. You hear this, especially from the Trumpies, right? They go, hey, you're taking away my rights by wearing a mask. You're making me wear a mask. Next time you see one of those people, tell them, hey, aren't you supposed to stop at a stop sign? So why don't you just go plow through it, bro? Government's controlling you. Hey, don't you stop at a red light? Hey, dude, government's making you stop at a red light, bro. And they tell you when to go green. 75 there. Yeah, they do that. They've taken away your rights, Trumpy. They're taking away all your rights, Trumpy. Did you know that? Because every day we live by rules. Every day we have laws. Can't jaywalk. Can't do whatever. There's a bunch of things you can't do. So right now, we want you to wear a mask. Oh, no, now you're taking my rights away. Oh, wait a minute. How about all the other things? How about when you go to Disney World and you got your Coke and you got about 60% of it and you want to walk in the right, you got to throw away the Coke. Oh, they're taking away your rights, dude. They're not letting you finish your Coke while you're walking in Space Mountain. You know you've got another hour left in that line, and that Coke will never last the hour, and you can throw, but they don't let you in, Trumpy. They're taking away your rights, Trumpy. Oh, by the way, you've got to file your taxes by April 15th. Oh, there's a deadline, Trumpy. You got to get there. It's a law. We live by laws. We live by rules. I love how we are particular about the mask. You know what I mean? It's freaking hilarious. It really is. It's just whatever, bro. But power to Anthony Fauci. He's the man, whether you think so or not, George. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. On the Super Chat or the YouTube chat board, Let me go with a little roll call. What we got here? Hialeah Tea Bread, by the way, or Hialeah Bread is first for the tea bread. Jean-Luc is in. Omar Lopez. Marta is in the house. JG, Ian from Brooklyn, Matthew Walker, Jonathan Dill. Let's see who else we got here. Myron is in the house. Morning, no show yesterday. Yes, we had technical snafus, but we did have an audio show. Remember, you guys can go to SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play. Please subscribe, search Big O Radio Show. Our audio is there. You can check it out. You Do Suck is in the house. He actually asked thoughts on Dr. Fauci throwing out the first pitch. There you go. You got it already. How about that? We were on the same wavelength. You do suck. Well, I suck, so maybe that's probably why. Okay. Man of 1,005 holds is in the house. 2 more days to baseball, he says. I know, I can't wait, man. It's just so awesome. I've been so engulfed in watching soccer. The Toronto game is on right now. And now we got baseball coming, basketball, hockey. This is heaven, man. This is heaven. It's awesome. It's awesome to have all of this. Let's see. Who else do we have? And Alexa V, the president, is in the house. George, who hates Dr. Fauci. Tommy in Hialeah says, good morning, everybody. Oh, I agree. Until the Panthers do it, no one's really going to pay attention, Tommy in Hialeah. It's just a shame, man. It's just a shame, you know. But let's hope so. I hope they prove me wrong. Robert Triana is in the house. Who else do I see here? Clee Torres in the house. A lot of Airman 241. Herman Cueva is in the house. Who else? Ray Grulon is in the house. Miguel Garcia, Pat in Asheville, Fred Soros, Greg Gordon, Mark McIntyre. You all are joining. Appreciate it. Oh, and Jesse in Minneapolis is the first with the super chat of the day. Appreciate it, man. That is very kind of you all. You guys are always supportive and taking care of us here on the show. And obviously, he knows I'm a big Star Wars guy. So he got us this pop Darth Vader, right? It's a collector's item. It's super cool. Love it. So we got it here, right? And, of course, Dougie Fresh got us the lunchbox from Rush there, right? And we have a new contributor to it, Julius305. I don't know if you're watching, Julius. I don't know if you're on now, but I got to tell you, thank you, my brother, because if you look at the Eiffel Tower, you'll see somebody batting in the Eiffel Tower, and that is Mike Jack Schmidt. And so I put it right there under the Eiffel Tower because anybody that knows me, this is my favorite baseball player of all time. I grew up as a Phillies fan as a kid because we didn't have the Marlins or anything. So I was a Phillies, Sixers, and Flyers fan because I only had the Dolphins growing up here. So I had to inherit 3, and I inherited those 3. And Mike Schmidt was my guy, you know. Little League, I always had number 20.
Show Schmidt because he's blinded by the light and also
I'm going to do that.
Blacked out by the light.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. So Michael is, you know, it's the trifecta of my past is Dr. J, Michael Jack Schmidt, and Sugar Ray Leonard. Okay, those are like my ultimate, you know, athletes from back in the day. Okay, I got some more modern ones now. You know, Wade is in there and all that, but that's the next wave as I got older. So, Julius305, who's always watching and also super chatting and all that, always so supportive. I don't know if you can see it perfectly there. I would hope so. You know, there you go. And then it says Schmitty there. And it's a collector's item because it comes with a certificate of authenticity. You know, that is super, super freaking cool. I can't say enough about it. And I got to say, I almost teared up on Saturday when he gave me this. So I appreciate it immensely. Thank you. Thank you very much, Julius305. That is an incredibly classy move on your part. and you also have contributed to the show. So I appreciate it, and in your honor and in Michael Jack Schmidt's honor, he will be right there under the Eiffel Tower every day. There we go. Got to make sure I place it right. I got to be careful. I got to be gentle with the thing. Okay, but Julius 305, thank you, man. That means a lot, man. It really does. I can't tell you enough about that. Every time I get a gift from a listener, you guys are just absolutely amazing. John Rouse is in the house. He sends back-to-back super chats. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Thank you, John. And he sends me two stickers. One's a turd with the messages behind it, but I appreciate it.
The YouTube, just to let you know, is intermittent. I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
It's back. It's out, and then a couple seconds it's back.
Mm-hmm.
I was worried about Schmidt, but it did. When you had Schmidt up on the screen, we did get to see Mike.
Didn't see the whole thing, just in case. The whole thing. There we go.
It's awesome, man.
It
really is cool.
It's pretty cool.
Actually, ironic
Michael Jack
to
Schmidt.
tie in. Obviously, I was up there, grandparents, Allentown, Bethlehem, during the 80 World Series year and got to go to my first baseball game against the Reds, Pete Rose and all that. This Saturday, I think it is, commemorates the 40th anniversary of Caddyshack. And while I was up there, I went to see it, which is exactly, yes,
right.
correct.
Filmed here.
40 years, Caddyshack.
Filmed here.
Yep.
In Rolling Hills. That used to be the golf course for the Dolphins all the time. Jesse, by the way, says, give him hello. Thank you, Jesse, in Minneapolis. Thank you, as always, for keeping it locked here and supporting us. It means everything, man. Big O Kings recruiting looking good. I'm with you, man. The only problem is, will we see any football? You know what I mean? So we're never really going to see Jordan do his thing at tight end this year and then leave for the draft. We're not going to see Rousseau tear it up. The kid from Temple, he's only here for 1 year, right? Roche? I don't think there's going to be any college football. I don't. You saw what happened you saw what happened in California. High school football was already pushed to the fall. I mean, and how do you have fall sports right now? The Miami mayor yesterday was saying we're probably going to shut the city down in the next day or two because the cases are ridiculous. They are now suing the governor and the state for forcing them to go back to work in unhealthy conditions. And finally, you notice it, that it's going on, right? The governor is now getting killed on all these press conferences now, the last couple of days. So DeSantis is now feeling the heat. But it is, and it's what Pat in Asheville put. He said that if the president would have worn a mask back in, a couple months ago, and then you would have gotten all the other people on board. But unfortunately, he's the guy. He's the great divider. That's what he is. He's the great divider. And that's what he's constantly doing, is dividing the country. And nobody, like I said, we live under rules. Okay? They're imposing a curfew. And what? They're taking away your rights? You can buy a gun, but you got to wait a couple days for a background check. Hey, those are the rules. You got to live by the rules. Isn't it funny how they pick on one rule, and yet your entire life is made of rules? Entire life. Everything. Hey, Trumpies, they don't let you take a gun on the plane. They don't let you take a knife on the plane either. In fact, try to carry a lighter onto the plane. They might take that out of your bag too, Trumpies.
Oh, they will.
Those are the rules, man. Those are the rules. Man, I get it. Man, these people, boy, they really hate rules.
You know what compounds it, though, is when the governors follow him. Especially he shows up in Atlanta, and 2 days later, we got to get rid of all the mask things
Politicized.
because,
Dude, the mayor
Trump
in
was here.
Atlanta,
It's looking bad.
the mayor in Atlanta is requiring masks, and then the governor sues her. The governor of Georgia sues her.
And her whole family, it went through their household,
It's it's like the ignorance in this country is, it's amazing how stupid we look to everybody else. We're a bunch of morons. We just are. We're a bunch of morons. What are you going to do? I guess we got to learn the hard way. And more people will die. People still carry lighters. Yeah, they do, George. They do. Ask those cigarette smokers, man. They carry lighters. I see cigarette smokers all the time carry lighters. They have to. They have no choice. Want to do matches? Big O, how long do you think before David Beckham lands as superstar and puts Miami on the map for the MLS? Frank, first of all, it'll be Paul McDonough that will be landing the superstar, not David Beckham, okay? Paul McDonough is the general manager. He's the guy building the team. It's not David Beckham. David Beckham is the face of the franchise. And just to elaborate a little bit on this, because David Beckham came out yesterday and was preaching patience, which is kind of what I've said the last couple of days, because you look at everything going on with this team. And I know they're 0-5. I get that 0-5 is depressing as hell, but you also have to understand that they've played 2 games 4 months ago and 3 games now. And Beckham came out and said, sometimes the road is long and you need to take a breather, okay? Manchester United, Real Madrid, La Liga, the Premier League wasn't built in a day. Teams, players, and clubs need time to flourish, but when they do, all the hard times seem so distant. And in a way, it kind of reminds me of the Dolphin season where it was all doom and gloom, and by the end of the year, you're like, hey, the season wasn't that bad because it ended strong. It ended well. They went 5-4 in their last 9 games. They beat New England. So what you thought was coming and you had to live through it, it didn't end up being that bad. And so this is what is going on with this team. All their games are by 1-goal losses. Okay? It's not like they're getting blown out by 3 or 4 goals. It's not like it's terrible deep. No, their defense has actually been pretty damn good. It's their offense that they lack. And what they lack is a striker. And that's what they're hooked to every time, Frank. It's a striker, Cavani, whatever. The different names, I don't need to tell you. You guys have heard it too if you follow it. Eventually, they'll get that striker, and then Pizarro becomes the guy that plays off that striker. And he'll have less attention on him. So it'll open it up for him. It'll open it up for Matias. And Agudelo has had several opportunities. And maybe he's not the guy, but he should be able to play even better with those guys. Carranza is another guy. So I think all of these guys will play better when that stud is on the pitch and everybody's worried. I think in the next month, that stud is going to be acquired. I'm not giving you – I know I work for the team and all that. I'm just spitballing here. Nobody's telling me anything. It's not a story I'm breaking or anything. But I think over the next month, because now the transfer window opens and all that, I'm not breaking any news here. I mean, it's automatic. I think something might happen. I'm not going to tell you they're going to fill both spots. I hope so. I would love to them add 2 studs. That would be amazing. But I think they'll at least get 1, And if they do, I think it'll make a much, it'll balance things out for Inter Miami. But you've got to be patient. He goes, it's important to take time to reflect on what we've achieved so far. I'm proud of my team, our club, and the amazing fans we have. Patience is a virtue. I think football in these 3 or 5 games has been unjust with us. We've got a lot less than this is Diego Alonso, the head coach. I think football in these 3 or 5 games have been unjust with us. We've got less than we deserved. I feel in the game today we didn't play as well as the one before against Philadelphia. But the team does deserve more and has got little, Alonso said. We have to keep trying, working. I don't regret being the coach of these players. I'm with them now more than ever. I'm convinced that we'll get out of this believing and trusting in them, lifting confidence and trying to get better in the week so that football gives us the rewards we deserve. They've had 3 red cards. They've had several yellows. So they keep losing a player in a game, okay? And that does not help in a team that's an expansion team. So Robbie Robinson has been out, and he's a youngster, but I like him. Just got to be patient. Just got to give this some time. 5 games and 4 months apart where you played 2 and then 3, it's hard, man. It's hard, and you're playing against teams that have played together for years and players that have been playing together for a couple of years, 3 years, 2 years, 4 years. You can't beat that kind of chemistry. This team's been playing for months, and then a pandemic in the middle. Got to slow the roll. Got to give it some time.
You know what's something I've noticed, and I don't know how you feel about it, but the officiating has been a little tough on us.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And it's almost kind of like, hey, you're new to this dance. You're not going to come and show off.
They
okay?
suspended the dude that injured our guy, and they
Dwyer.
No. The next guy, the Hispanic kid on the next game.
The next game. Okay.
I forgot his name now. I have to go back and look at it.
From Philly.
From Philly.
Right.
They suspended him. The kid with the fuzzy hair.
Right.
Curly hair that he had. That kid. Young, but he was hammering the crap out of everybody. He was hammering Pizarro the entire night.
Yeah.
And then they went back and looked at the foul in the first half. They didn't give him a card, and yet now they do. Now they give him a red, and now they have him suspended for the next game. That doesn't help us in the second half when you injured our guy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And if he gets a red card during the game, we're a man up.
We're a man up.
We maybe
maybe we're getting also a shot at the goal.
You know what? If you win that game, then all you got to do is break even with New York yesterday, right? And you're pretty much in.
Yeah.
It's a different.
I don't want to make it a sack of excuses.
No. But every game, there's been man, we're being treated pretty harshly out there.
Yeah, it's
like you're the new guy on the block, so you're going to take the lumps.
Yeah. It's kind of like that whole rookie thing, right? And when rookies come in the NFL or the NBA, they don't get the respect from the officials and all that, and it takes a while and all that. It's like a rite of passage.
Yes,
that happens.
That's exactly what it is.
And you kind of get the feeling
right now. This is your lot in life.
Yes.
Until you get a little more seasoned.
Yes.
This is what you're dealing with.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like what we were talking about with the Yankees. I'll bring it full circle. They didn't have the pitchers in the right spot. They didn't have the guy that's the guy that you say every 5 days, yo, end the streak. We lost 2 in a row. Yo, we're not playing well. Boom. And that when that guy takes the mound, everybody goes, oh, we're kicking your ass today. And that's Garrett Cole. When Garrett Cole takes the mound, doesn't matter what team's behind him, they're going, oh, we're kicking your ass today. Because you're not scoring on him, and all we need is a run to win the damn game. You know, that's kind of the way you feel. May not be a run, might be you need 3 or 4, but you know what I'm saying. You know, and now the Yankee rotation falls to where it belongs. Everybody's in their slot. They had a 2, they had a 3, they had a 4. They didn't have a number 1. Inter Miami doesn't have the number 1 guy. Doesn't have a number 10. If we want to use it in soccer terms, they don't have a 10. And that's what they need. When they get that 10 and they have space, I got to tell you, and they don't score a lot. So you start changing the scoring and you maintain the defense, I think things start to change. So let's give it a little time. A Fauci interview from January where he explained how masks do not work, stop droplets, not the virus. Now saying that he was just saving masks. Everybody was doing that. Everybody did that. Everybody did that, Mark. Everybody. Okay?
Around that time,
everybody.
If you remember, Kraft grabbed the plane.
And wait a minute, hold on a second, because Mark McIntyre is playing the result, right? And you know, I'll bust your ass when you play the result, and I'll expose your ass, Mark, on this one. Nobody knew it was an airborne virus then. Checkmate, buddy. It's over. Okay, Mark? Stop with the texts. Stop with the Trumpy crap. Nobody knew it was an airborne virus then. Okay? Experts are still learning about this thing. They don't know how it affects our DNAs. So make up whatever excuses you want. Fauci's way more right than anybody else in the damn government. Okay? Checkmate, mic drop, whatever you want, buddy. It's over. So enough with that. Okay? So I don't want to hear about that. Nobody knew then. They wanted to save the PPE for the people that were important at that time, the people that had to take care and save our lives. And then once the PPE was out, then everybody went crazy. And you got your PPE. Everybody ended up getting it. But at that time, nobody knew it was airborne, so you didn't need the mask. They didn't think so. But the masks that were available, they wanted it for, because they wear masks every day. I don't know if you guys found, I'm not sure if you've been to a hospital in the last, wherever you've been existing, but they wear masks over there. And they needed a lot of them because we had a pandemic going on. Okay? So they felt, well, wait a minute, it's not an airborne thing right now, so the people don't need it. Hospitals need it. Boom. Okay? Checkmate, mic drop, it's over. 5, if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because that, my friends, is what we call a 24-hour talk show. Now, you see what's going on with the NHL, the NBA, and the MLS. I think the NHL had 2 positives. But combined, the MLS, the NBA, and the NHL have, like 10,000 tests. 2 positives. And it was all in the NHL. Okay? And, they had cross-country and all that stuff, so you figure 1 or 2 slipped in, whatever, and that's it. But think about it. No tests, because you controlled the environment. We went quarantining for a couple of months. We brought the numbers way down. We lift quarantine. People go out in the streets without masks, and now the cases are exploding once again. And we're about to get shut down in Dade County, and you're about to ruin football because there's no way you're not going to get high school and you're not going to get college this year. I mean, it's just, those are the facts. And the Florida State High School Association was like, well, we'll leave it up to the counties and the cities to decide. We're not going to make that decision at the moment. And so, in Dade County, there's not going to be any football. There's not going to be any school. You're going to have to learn, on virtually. That's the only way to do this thing, is virtually. What are we doing here on the Toronto-New England game? Where are we at here? I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. We're still scoreless, I got. Apparently, yep, we are scoreless. And I guess, did I miss we had to forward so much that the game is kaput. It's over. 0-0. So it stayed in a scoreless tie. So the kid did not score again, who's been scoring like 4,000 goals. Not bad. But anyway, it's interesting how you control the environment, MLS and NBA and NHL, and nobody is getting positives. Now you're going to be able to. It's interesting because this is why I mentioned that we went into quarantine and we lowered the numbers, right? And then we went back out on the street and we started protesting without masks, going to Trump rallies without masks, loading up pools and beaches without masks, being idiots on South Beach without masks, everywhere. Everybody was irresponsible here. And now the numbers have skyrocketed, right? Now you look at what's going on with the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Soccer. Now I want you to then compare it to baseball and compare it to football coming up, who can't control their environments, and they're going to be going out on the street, and they're going to be going home, and they're going to be associating with their friends, their family members, all that stuff. Watch the difference when you can't control the environments and what's going to happen, and the sports that are in a bubble controlling the environment, And what we've talked about here apparently several times now on the show is the 32 bubbles is what should be done for the NFL. I get with college football, it might be different because if you don't have kids on campus, then you can't do that, and it just becomes a whole different ball game. But overall, for the NFL, the 32 bubbles is probably the best thing to do.
It's another thing, factoring in these controlled environments, they're doing a lot of testing. And even doing a lot of testing, unlike the president, don't test so you don't get positives. We're testing. It's a controlled environment, and the numbers are staying down. If you do the right thing, you're going to be okay. We should be able to make this curve in the right direction.
Yep. Well, I give Mark McIntyre credit. He says, I'll wear my mask anyway. There you go. That's it. You got to wear the mask, bro. And nobody's taking your rights away. Just wear the damn mask. Let's save some lives. Ray Grulong, by the way, chiming in on a little Super Chat. He says, howdy, Big O. Thanks for keeping Los Locos' ignorance in check. Well, we gotta, listen, I am one of the few people that actually doesn't give a rat's ass about Democrats or Republicans. I don't choose a side. And I try to be as objective as possible, okay? I'm not a Trump guy, but there's a bunch of things that I do like that he does. Believe it or not. He's been completely right about China. Yeah, hard line, all that stuff. He's been dead ass right on that. On the trade, on the virus, on being hard on them. I'm with Trump 1,000% on that.
Pulling that $500 million from the WHO for the UN.
Well,
that was.
I mean, listen. In the end, everybody's going to do things that you agree and disagree with. The problem is when you allow the politics to blind you. And you can't give a Democrat credit or a Republican credit or an independent credit or anybody credit for something that maybe they did right. Even if you disagree with their politics overall, there has to be something that you agree with. You can't disagree with everything just because, I'm disagreeing with anything Biden does because he's a Democrat. I'm disagreeing with anything that Trump does because he's a Republican. I just can't work that way. I just can't. I can't do it, bro. It's just not my style. You know what I mean? And so, again, rules. And yet, they want to pick on the one that they're asking you. Come on, man. By the way, when you buy a ticket, you have to sit in the seat you bought. You can't go to the front row, Trumpy. No. Your seat is 37 rows down. Seat 9, row X. Okay? Or XX. Get your ass over there. That's the rules. Okay. By the way, the performance starts at 8. So you have to be there before 8 if you want to see the beginning of the performance. If you get there at 8:30, those are the rules. The concert already started. The play already started. You missed out. That's all. Okay? Our lives are all rules. Our lives are all laws. That's what we call order. That's kind of the idea. Hey, you know what I got no problem with protesters. I got all the problem with the looters. I got no problem with that. Now, I do compartmentalize. I do separate the two. But I have no problem arresting anybody and everybody that is damaging property. Okay? No problem with that. You can protest all you want peacefully. Got no problem with that. Now, when you start destroying people's properties and innocent people and hardworking people and you destroy their stores and all that, no. Got to separate the two, man. Now, one side can't separate the two. The other side tries to separate the two. Doesn't do it perfectly, but, Then you got a dumbass mayor in Seattle. Oh, yeah, we'll have an autonomous zone. That's where you got to rip the Dems, Stupid. Yeah, let's give a couple blocks to a bunch of bums that don't want to work and live there. Get the hell out of here. Clowns. Autonomous zone. Who the hell's heard of that, bro? Get your ass to work, bro. Become a productive citizen. Do what everybody else does. They go protest, and then they go back home. And they go to work the next day, and they do whatever they have to do. But they take some time off their clock to go protest, not live in protest on the middle of a street. Get the hell out of here, clowns. Again, be objective, man. Rip the things that are supposed to be ripped, whether they're Democrats or Republicans. They both deserve it. Okay? There's plenty of screw-ups there. Kenneth Cleveland. Now, Kenneth Cleveland, is that a nickname or is that really your name, Kenneth Cleveland? First of all, thank you for the... But I got to tell you, Kenneth Cleveland is a super cool name. Okay, so if you're rigging it because you're a Cleveland fan or something, you're Kenneth Cleveland or something like that, I get it. But if that's really your name, love the name, dude. Love the name. That's actually a really cool name. And he says, what up, Big O? Thank you, sir. What up? Airman 241 says, What will the long-term health of people who contracted the virus recovery be? As that's what I'm concerned about. Dude, did you see the lady that she had it for 21 days? Then she was another 14 days in the hospital for therapy. Now she's home. She really can't speak normal. You can tell she's short of breath, and she's still taking therapy for several things to get back to normal again. And she's a teacher, and she's part of the lawsuit. Like, no, I'm not going back to work now. She just had corona. She's living it, dude. That's the thing. We don't know all the long-term effects and all that. It affects Gobert. I don't know if he got his taste back, but I think up until a week or two ago, he still couldn't taste. Von Miller is still having some breathing issues. That's an athlete, bro. Okay? I don't think they know exactly. The experts don't know about this yet. They don't know everything about this virus.
They have come out and said that regarding antibodies, you may get it a second time. They're not even sure.
Yeah, like I think in 2 or 3 months they're gone or something.
Yeah, they're learning. The unknowns are way outweigh the knowns.
They're still learning about this. Just like in February and March, they had no idea it was an airborne virus. They didn't figure out it was airborne until like May or June, I think. Is when they said, "Yo, it's airborne. We need to have masks." Constantly, because everybody thought it was, if somebody, you touch something or somebody sneezes on you or whatever, it had to be something like gross, disgusting. Now it's like, no, somebody talking and the particles are in the air. And when you're talking, it goes about 8 feet. And you could get it. It's crazy.
The guy from Broadway in the hospital for 40-something days and died.
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't just a 14-day ride.
Yeah. No, it could be worse. Mark says, I wish my son would hear you. He thinks it's a hoax when I tell him it's not. I do not see him. My docs say stay away from him. Yeah. But that's because he's programmed. He's programmed by the dude with the orange hair. And that's just not good, man. He has misled a lot of people. Instead of all of us working together like Europe has, everybody work together. Nobody's complaining about a mask. Of course not. When you go to a restaurant, they ask you to sit down. They give you a table. You sit down. That's it. It's a rule. You go sit down at a table in the restaurant. There's rules everywhere you go. I mean, do I need to keep saying it? There's a rule. You want to wait for the bus? Sit on the bench. It's there. Don't go walking down the street. It's not going to stop in the middle of bus stops like a block ahead. Oh, and you can wave it down like it. No. That's not the rule. The rule is you got to be by the bus stop. That's the problem. Big O, I love this show so much. It's like CNN, Fox, and ESPN has a child. So entertainment, informative, and engaged. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. That's very kind of you. DJ, let's not compare Big O to CNN or Fox. He's keeping it real attitude without give people a heart attack over at those places. You're right about that. They do overreact on CNN and Fox both ways. Yeah, they're not objective. That's the problem. It's funny when you watch CNN. It's funny when you watch Fox. Everything is spun, and it's not accurate. Half the time, at least. Half the time they do say something that's right, but it's all an agenda. It's sad, man. Watch Reuters is what I tell people. Watch Reuters because they don't care, bro. Reuters just tells it like it is, and it's over, bro. This is what's going on, okay? And we're not playing politics here. That's why I always say watch a little CNBC, MSNBC also. If you want to watch Fox or CNN, go ahead. That's fine. I watch a little bit of it too myself, but I cruise around all the other networks, okay? And by the way, I enjoy Reuters coverage. Don't watch Bloomberg. That's what I would tell you that don't watch. That one I would stay away from. Let's see what else. Big O, I took a drive through the Panhandle a few weeks ago, and no one was wearing a mask. Yeah, well, that's the way it is, my man. That's sad. All right, let's take a break. Oh wow, I wanted to break at 11:30. It's 11:38. So that's like what, like 50-something hour, 50-some minutes, or 40-some.
Exactly at 61 minutes into the show.
Oh, so it's an hour? I've done an hour?
You've done an hour, sir.
Okay, I've done a straight hour of talk,
So-
which I'm sure you'll get at QAM and 790. I'm sure a single host can talk for a straight hour and add all kinds of subjects. I'm sure that happens in those places. Let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side. I do want to tell you about Murias Dental. Love talking about Eric Murias. Listen, folks, you know I would never mislead you. I would never go tell you to use a sponsor that I wouldn't use myself. And obviously with my Invisaligns, you can do it too. Implants, you got to clean your teeth. You got to get a cavity filled. Please call Eric Murias. State-of-the-art equipment, extremely clean. I mean, it is a really nice place. And like I tell you, state-of-the-art. Here's a great thing for COVID. Okay? Listen to this. I just thought about this. I tell you all the time that if you need an implant, you need a crown, you need a filling. You know how sometimes, well, not the filling, but the crown and an implant, they have to take a measurement, and then you come back a couple weeks later, and then they, not at Murias Dental, they have a machine that makes it right there and then. So why would you want a second trip to the dentist? Why do you want to take more time off from your busy schedule, from work, lose money because you got to go to the dentist? That's why Murias Dental does this one time. You go, you need an implant, dude, they take a digital measurement, and they go right to the machine. Machine makes the tooth, boom. They place that tooth, you walk out. There is no temporary. You need a crown, they make it right there and then. No temporary. 305-821-0231. I promise you. 305-821-0231. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Murias Dental, or go to the website, muriasdental.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we back. NorCal says, took a nasal swab COVID test yesterday. No symptoms, just had to take the test. Streaming from the garden. Hope the Big O Show crew listeners and chat boarders have a great day. Fins for life. What's up, NorCal? And good. No symptoms. Hopefully you don't have it. Hopefully none of you get it, man. Stay away from people. Wear a damn mask. That's all. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to be hard for all of us to stay away from it as long as we have the people that keep spreading it. You know what I mean? It's just the numbers grow, and that's the sad part. All right, let's get to some sports talk, obviously, because a lot of you tune in, so we could talk a little sports. I know life and Corona, unfortunately, get in the way. Let's the other thing that we could talk about is the NFL. So now you've got the NFL owners the NFL owners and the players. They have agreed. The players didn't want any preseason games. The owners wanted 2. Apparently, right now they've agreed on 0. So no preseason games. Now, let me explain something to all of you out there when we talk about this with no preseason games. This is going to be tough for the Dolphins. They're in the middle of a rebuild. They needed training camp. They need preseason. They needed all those off-day workouts, those mini camps and all that stuff to see mentally who's grasping the offense, who continues to run the plays that are being called, run the right routes, make the right throws, make the right decisions. Just the mental approach to it all was really important for the Dolphins. When you don't have a preseason and your offseason has been completely annihilated, okay, and what are you going to have? You're going to have a 2-week training camp or something before you start the season? Is that what's going to happen? Because you think about it, we're at the end of July now. They're about to report. And if they stay there for a month, oh, my Lord, 90 players in and out of the facility, going back home, all that, oh, man, that's not good. Okay? That's going to set people back. You can bet your ass on that. But the other thing I was thinking about is, how do you really get a feel for Ray Lima? A kid that, looked like a pretty decent street free agent. Remember Preston Williams? Kirk Merritt is another kid from Arkansas State, the wide receiver. Benito Jones from Ole Miss, lineman. These guys they're going to struggle because they're not going to get the reps that they need. Remember, a lot of these teams are going to try to get ready for game 1. So they're going to try to get the players that they think are best suited for it. But if you're the Dolphins, your offensive line hasn't even settled in yet. You don't even know who's starting in all the spots. So how do you know any of your D linemen are actually doing a good or bad job? They might be blowing a guy up because he sucks, not because he's good. And what I mean is they might be blowing up the lineman because a lineman's terrible, which then doesn't really show anything on him, and you think he's good, but he's not. And so, Jason Stowbridge, the Weaver kid, all the draft picks are going to make the team. There's no doubt in my mind now that, you've got to be a complete bonehead to get cut now as a draft pick with the Dolphins. Okay? But the street free agents, you may not get the same kind of feel for those guys. And so it makes the job of deciding who belongs on your team and who doesn't that much harder. And that's the bad side. The good side is the same mistakes the Dolphins may end up making, so will other teams. And the Dolphins may be able to capitalize and pick up a player or two from somebody else that they didn't give a good opportunity and they couldn't get a good feel for him, but then they release him, Dolphins get him, put him on the active roster, and the rest is history. That could happen. Now, it could go the other way, too, that Miami releases a player that they didn't see enough from, and then he goes somewhere else, gets an opportunity, and he shines. But this is going to create an issue for coaches and front office executives. This will become more of a challenge for the Dolphins in order to kind of figure this whole thing out, And it's nice that they agreed to no preseason in a way to try to save the players, but it's also bad because, one, we get less football, and even more importantly, they have less football to really actually address and analyze the players that they need. And you can't have a practice against another team because, again, with the COVID issue, and it's funny how the players had to twist the arms of the owners in order to get everyday testing. How crazy is that? You would figure that now it's $125 every test. So that's why the league is like, well, and right now the plan in place, which is disturbing, is that they'll test every day for the first 2 weeks. And then after they're going to negotiate or talk about it, which there is no negotiation. You test every day. If you want people to go back out on the street, then you need to test them every day. Now, the sad part is you don't find out about the results till 24 hours later. So for 24 hours, that player is in and out of your facility possibly spreading COVID. It's agreed. They have to start it. There's too much money involved in all of this to allow it to just go by. You know what I'm saying? But this will be a challenge for the Dolphins. I promise you. Draft picks, they'll make it. But look, how about a guy like Malcolm Perry from Navy? Guy that we've all been intrigued to see. Now we don't get to see him in the preseason and see what he can do. It's a challenge, man. It's a challenge. Jean-Luc coming in strong on the Super Chat. He says, wear a damn mask from your mouth to God ears, Big O. The people not wearing masks are the ones killing the economy. Exactly. They're keeping businesses closed. They're keeping sports closed. And why? Because, we're taking away their rights. Oh. Wow. You're right. You shouldn't make me wear a mask. But you can make me drive a certain speed limit. Don't make me wear a mask, but you have to make me wait to a starting time for a movie. I can't walk in and then start the movie when I say, no, there's a starting time for it. Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's an expiration on your passport, on your license, and then you've got to go renew it. I don't know if you know that, but that's the rule. Yeah. Oh, by the way, there's a rule. You drive on the right side of the road. That's the rule. You can't drive on the left side, Trumpies. I know, we're taking away your freedoms. You should drive on the sidewalk if you want to. You should drive out in the curb, all that stuff, okay? I get it. I understand. I had a friend of mine that one day we left Key Biscayne, and if you remember back in the 80s, Bill, if you left Key Biscayne after 4 p.m., how was the traffic coming out of Key Biscayne back in the day? After 4 p.m., do you remember?
I can tell you from being on the beach every Saturday and Sunday, post-football season, of course. We stay there till 8, 9 o'clock at night, watch the stars, roast marshmallows.
Why be in traffic for 2 hours?
Forget about it.
Right, and then US 1.
Oh,
right?
No, just
right.
It didn't matter.
Those of you that are old enough and cruised Dade County, I know some of you in Broward, you think you need a passport to go to Dade. All that's, I understand all of that, but in Dade we have Key Biscayne, and then it goes into US 1, and you can keep going south, right? But back in the day, and I don't know anymore if that happens. I doubt it, because Key Biscayne is not what it used to be as a hangout. But the traffic was brutal, right? And if anybody remember, if you've been down US 1 as you're going south, there's a sidewalk to the right that's under the Metro rail, correct? Well, a buddy of mine, which he's probably, a Trump fan nowadays, he did not want to wait the traffic on US 1 to go south, because we were all I think we were going to Cazola's. So what he did was he got on that sidewalk. He jumped the curve, got on the sidewalk, and not only was he going down that sidewalk, he was doing about 50 and waiting for us at Cazola's when we got there, because he didn't get busted. He had an Audi. He was crazy. He was out of his mind. But, hey, they were, they were actually taking his rights away. They were telling him that he had to stay in traffic because I don't know if you guys know this, that when there's traffic, you just got to stay in traffic. I don't know if you also know this. When you go to a drive-through, there's an order. You have to, when you take your order, there's another car. You can't skip those cars.
You can't get out of your car and just walk up to the window and, I'm the third car back, but I'm going to place my order.
That's the rule. I'm sorry. The Trumpies have to learn that there's a lot of rules. It's a lot of rules, man. They live by a lot of rules and laws every single day of their lives. Hey, don't make me wear a mask, but I'll put an indicator on when I got to make a left. I won't cross the double line, but don't make me wear a mask. Come on. The double line, I get it. I can't cross the double line. I got to stop at a red light? Oh, no. Rules. Kenneth, I've got a really cool name. Cleveland chimes in on a super chat. Thank you, Kenneth Cleveland. Once again, sir, that's your second super chat of the day. He says, it's my real name, LOL, half Cuban and half Simone. Is that what it means? And my last name's Cleveland. Figure that one out. That's pretty cool. Dude, it's a cool name, Kenneth Cleveland, I got to say. I would figure you to be like a football player, right? Kenneth Cleveland rushes for 1,000 yards. Kenneth Cleveland throws for 5,000 yards. Kenneth Cleveland runs the 100 meter in, like 4.2 seconds. Crushes Usain Bolt. It's just Kenneth Cleveland just sounds like a really cool name. So, yeah, nice job by you, sir. Miami Kid J says, Big O, don't forget I-95 also merges into US 1. Oh, that's a law. You got to, when you merge, you got to merge right into 95 right there into US 1. That's it right there. It's the way it goes. By the way, Trumpies, when you park by the beach and there's meters, you have to pay the meter. I don't know if you know that, but so you avoid a parking ticket. Oh, and by the way, you have to pay a parking ticket if you get a parking ticket. Okay, Trumpies? You don't have to wear a mask, but you have to pay for your parking ticket. Okay? Those are the laws. Those are the rules, man. I'm sorry. I can't help you, man. Those people now that don't want to wear masks, I think they need to, when you see them, say, remind them about all the rules and laws they normally live under. And say, man, I feel bad for you because they've taken all your rights away. You can go lobster fishing sometimes, and then there are other times you can't. I don't know if you know that, Bill, but you can't go lobster fishing every day. There are times you can't, Trumpies, okay? I don't know if you know that, but I just wanted the Trumpies to know that.
Mini season.
Okay, but there's only a mini season, okay? And remember, it has to be a certain size lobster, all right? You can't go get the mini-me of lobsters. No, not allowed. Those are the rules. Just saying. Okay? Hey, pay that toll in Card Sound Road. You have to. Don't go past it. Don't blow through it. No. Those are the rules. Just saying. It's a shame, man. Those people, man, they must be frustrated now. Wow. They got to live under all these rules? Man. Life is not fun for them, living under all those rules. Tell them that they have to pay for a concert ticket if they want to go to a concert. They can't just, I don't care. Yeah, when the concert's sold out, you can't come in anymore. Those are the rules. Lots of rules out there. Okay? Just want to make sure you guys know that. I like the name Jackie Daytona. So do I. Why'd you bring that up? What am I missing? What's Jackie Daytona? Is that like is that a thing or something? Is that social media? Is there some are Jackie Daytonas replacing Karens? What are we doing here? I don't know. You lost me on that one. Hey, you notice how people cry over rights to not wear masks but threaten to boycott sports if players exercise their right to kneel. Exactly, same people. The same people that want businesses open don't wear masks. And it's moron. The business is not open because you're not wearing a mask. awesome. We want football back, but I'm not going to wear my mask. Okay, well then go ahead. Keep spreading it. We want kids back in school, but I'm not going to wear my mask. No. What's up with Broward order stating that people have to wear masks inside their homes? Hello, what? Really? No, I haven't seen that. Now that's crazy. Now, maybe you should wear a mask at home if you have transient people in your house. If you're allowing strangers in your house, your son or daughter's bringing friends over, then yeah, you know what? Yeah, maybe you better wear a mask. If it's the same people in the house, then no, of course not. But if you do have others coming in, then you have no choice. Can't have sex with animals even if you want to so bad. That's right, Pat. That's the rule. You can't have sex with animals. It's cool. Any idea on finding the best 53 scrimmages? Well, that's what they're going to have. They're going to have their own practices, and it's 55. They're going to have their own practices, and they're going to have 15 players on practice squad. So that's 70 that they're going to have on the roster now. And they're going to have 90 total during training camp, however long that training camp is, because I don't even know. We haven't even been told how long will training camp be because we don't have a preseason anymore. So you kind of knew how long training camp was because right when the preseason started, training camp was over. You know what I'm saying? Now we don't even know how long they're going to, when do you get down to the 55-player cut? We don't know. And I would imagine that it's going to be the weekend of before right before the Thursday they start. I would imagine by Tuesday or Monday you're going to have that cut. Because with COVID and all that, they're probably going to let people hang on to players as long as they can so they can get not just the good ones, but the healthiest ones too, because maybe you have a good player that you have to put on. Here's the other thing. Do you have a COVID IR now? Instead of an IR, instead of whatever, there has to be a COVID list now that doesn't count against your roster spots.
I would hope. It would be smart. You can't penalize a team because it contracted a pandemic.
This is the same billionaire owners that print money, and they don't want to test every day. The one league that has more money
you saw the criteria.
than the NBA, Major League Baseball, and hockey combined. Those three sports don't produce
if you're
football.
Going to touch the coffer, man, we can't have that.
Exactly.
Can't have it.
Exactly. That's my point. So I wouldn't put it past them. No, because then that's more people you have to carry. That's more insurance that you have to pay. You understand what I'm saying? There's all these they're thinking of everything else, even though and here's the most disgusting part, Bill. They've been printing money for years.
Oh yeah.
Like if this is the year that you take a loss, who cares,
it ain't
bro?
gonna, yeah, it's not even
Who
going to.
cares? You've been cutting a profit forever. And they're not cutting any losses, by the way. They have more than enough money to pay for everything, make it as healthy as possible and safe as possible, and still make oodles of cash.
Shows you how truly greedy, and nothing else matters. Nothing.
Bottom
You saw
line,
this 5% thing, right?
Yeah.
That will increase or will they will up. Can you see them, man? You could ready? Them messing with the tests. Them
I don't
pushing
think so.
back. Here, you know what?
Nah, I don't think so. Not that. I
This
don't
test
think.
shows up a day or two later, and it doesn't count on this day to push it over the 5%.
I don't-
If we push these tests back a day,
I don't think
response, we don't blip 6.
so. I don't think they'll mess with the medicals
You
because
understand what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, but in today's world, dude, no, because the medical people's livelihoods are on the line, and if they allow anything that gets altered, they can lose their medical license for that. So they you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't fudge that kind of stuff. They'll just
They
say
did it with the
they'll
head
just-
trauma stuff, man.
Right, but that was
they're-
30 years ago. That's stuff that got exposed after. Now in
But be-
today's world, where everything's recorded and
be
everything, there's a
exposed
digital.
and-
You can't do it, bro.
You don't
Can't do
think you don't put it past these people to
No,
try
they-
to.
No, dude, they're just so cold and callous that up front they'll just say, no, we're not paying for it. We're not doing it. That's what they wanted to do testing in training camp every other day. And then the players got them to do it every day now. And now they've said every day for the first 2 weeks. After that, we don't know. And it's like, what do you mean we don't know? Don't you guys want this thing to work?
That's why they put in that 5. And what I'm saying is I could see where the NFL has a little powwow, and it's, oh, my God, today we hit 5.2% testing, which means we need to revert back to testing every day because of the 0.2. And I could see them going, is there a way that we could have that push back to the following day's results because that kind of thing past them, okay?
I just don't think that they would fudge anything with the test. They'll just say, we're not paying for it. We're not doing it now. We can only go here and whatever. And look, in the end, I have a hard time believing this thing is going to survive as it is. Let's see. Noon, my rights. Oh, my God. Marta's having some fun. Matthew Walker is in. Tremolio. What's up with that Broward? No, we got that one already. What do we do in the Shadows show? Hilarious show. Okay, I don't know. I've got to check it out. Robert says, do you think Tua definitely redshirts this season? You know what? I had this subject here that I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk a little Tua because what I told you before, right? When you have no preseason, you've had no offseason mini camps. Remember, the offseason mini camps are your mental reps. You're not tackling, you're not hitting, but you're dropping back, you're making your 3-step drop and the read, and you're delivering the ball to whatever is the right person is supposed to be. You're doing your 5-step, you're doing your bootleg, you're doing your, all that kind of stuff. And they want to see if the quarterback makes the right decision, the right throw. If the blockers are in the right spot, you're not really stopping a rush because they're not going all out. They want to see what the corners are doing, how they're attacking that offense and how they're adjusting to what the offense is doing. All these mental reps are so important. Nobody had them. Not Tua, not Weaver. No one had the reps. No team reps whatsoever. So now you're months behind now. I don't care what they did virtually. All right? Virtually is not the same. It just isn't. In football, there has to be a physical element to it. Okay? If it was for virtual, then, hey, a lot of other people could end up playing. Oh, by the way, tell the Trumpies out there, you can't play pro football unless you're really talented. And you just can't walk in and say, I want to be a football player. I don't know if they know that, but there are rules. Just saying. Oh, also, the rules are you've got to stay in the stands. You can't go on the field. Not sure if you know that, but they're taking away your rights. Can't be on the field. Anyway, so as we continue here with Tua. So Tua has no mini camps. Now the training camp and the time you have left is to prepare yourself for the season. So now you have to go with Fitz for sure. Not that I ever thought Tua was going to start anyways, even with a full off season. I never thought he was going to start. But now, I told you that they shouldn't play him till the end of the year. I can guarantee you now that I don't even think they'll make it to the end of the year. So guess what? Yes, it becomes a red shirt because he's not going to play early on because Fitz knows more about what Chan Gailey is doing. Remember, it's a new coordinator. So, and who knows the coordinator? Fitz. So now Chan can tell Fitz, remember what we ran with this team and that team and this, that that's the play. Boom. He knows it. He's been in 8,000 offenses. And he's been with Chan Gailey. And Chan knows him. So Chan's going to call the stuff that complements him. You get my drift? So there's a good chance, and I don't have a problem with this, you don't see Tua at all this year. I really don't have a problem with it at all. Maybe I would have been seeing him at the end of the year for a game or 2 or 3 where he's healthy. But the fact that you've got COVID, I don't even think they get to November or December. So I don't think he gets an opportunity to play when it's all said and done. And I don't even know. Who knows? The NFL, they're so greedy. They could stop the league in week 3 or 4 and then say, well, let's get through the pandemic and we'll restart the season in January or February. They could do that too. I don't know. I mean, they're capable of doing that because that will allow them. They love that.
They're not. If they start this up, I could see them like that strike shortened year and have, okay, we've got 3 in, we're going to get 5 more in, make it 8 games, we're going to have playoffs and go, and that's it.
Right. It's anything is possible. Robert says, I love your perspective on the new Miami Dolphins. Great job, Big O. I just wish that they had a whole season for the rebuild, man, because this is so important for them. This does set them back. It sets them back. It sets them back a little bit, but you know what I love is that Flores did great under chaos last year. And so there's more chaos, and I feel good about our guy managing the chaos than a person like Cam Cameron, a person like Tony Sperano, a person like Joe Philbin, a person like Adam Gase. You know what I mean? These are guys that could not handle the chaos. And this is a guy that can. So that's the one other thing that I got to say is a positive. It sucks that they don't get the playing time because I feel bad for the Weavers of the world and all that and all the draft picks from Tua and Noah and all that. But, man, it's just a shame that they don't have all this playing time to really help them out.
There is no doubt that plant this seed. The group that will be the furthest behind and probably look the worst is the offensive line.
Oh, yeah. And
because of that.
And Jesse Davis is the guy that has the potential of becoming the swing tackle or the backup guard, because there's a good chance you can find somebody better than, because he's a serviceable starter. He's not a good starter. He's not a great starter, not a Pro Bowl starter, not an All-Pro starter, not a Hall of Fame starter, okay? So he's none of those.
Okay, so are we down to a half a starter? Is that what we've got a half a starter out of 5?
Yeah, basically. You know what I mean? He's a good guy. He's a good swing guy and all that, but he's probably an excellent backup is what he is. You know what I mean? And that's your starter.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
No,
you need those guys. Those guys usually do play at least 2 or 3 games a year.
You got to have those guys. You got to have those guys. But you know you're not good enough when they're starting. That's my point. You know what I mean? And at Craig Zinn, Acura Pembroke Pines, they are always good enough at starting. RDX right now starting at $289, MDX $319, TLX $239, ILX $199, only $29.99. Do it signing plus tax tag and registration. Get on down there, celebrate their 12th anniversary at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that Big O sent you. If you're a military veteran, $750 off. And, of course, get on down there, 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest Acura dealership on the planet. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby.
Travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com. A travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O
DFS
Show.
Hobby says no jobs, no car sales. I would disagree. Not everybody's out of work, my man. 2 of our listeners have bought cars in the last month. Okay? All right? So that's not true, actually. So people have gone to buy cars. In the last month, they tell me, because and thank you, by the way, those of you that go to VSS West Pines, if you go to Moody S Dental, if you go to Caneswear, if you go to Craig's Inn Acura, if you go to Toyota of Hollywood, please mention us, man. It's imperative that you mention us, okay? That's really, really important. So it's actually, now, is it like it was? No, but there are people that are still working, and DFS Holiday, what people overlook at times, because I've heard that comment before, leases run out, and they're paying for the lease. So they have to get another lease, because if not, they don't have a car. So that happens, too, during this time. You know what I mean? And a lot of these dealerships are giving you breaks, a lot of breaks, too. They're giving you a couple months off. So, yeah, it's down, of course, but don't, when you said no car sales, it's not true. Not true. Everything is down sales-wise. But people have accidents. People have leases that expire. People have cars that expire because they're too old or whatever. And it forces them. And maybe they go get a certified pre-owned, or they get a new one. They buy it. They lease it. But it does happen. And there are some people that are still working. You know what I mean? Not everybody's out of work. Thank the Lord. What we're hoping for is the people that are out of work, we could get them back at work. Just wear a damn mask. That's all. But yeah, of course, every sales is down for everything except for what? PPE, toilet paper, and food, and I don't know. There's a couple things that are still selling pretty well, but outside of everything else, yeah, I'm sure people are buying less iPhones. I'm sure people are buying less cars. I'm sure they're, it's less of everything. That's normal. But it's not like it's not happening. Oh, it's happening. It still happens. Okay? All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to me on Twitter, and that's at Big O Show. Just to switch a little music, a big-time concert promoter said, and this is Matt Geiger. He's the co-founder of Lollapalooza and the former global head of music at talent agency at William Morris Entertainment. Okay, do you think he might know something about music? Just a tad, right? Says one of the largest global talent agencies in the world for not just musicians, but actors, models, artists, all types. During a recent appearance on the Bob Lefsetz podcast, he was asked what his thoughts on concerts would be and the return, and his response was, in my humble opinion, it's going to be 2022. Okay? Like 2020's out. People are already scheduling 2021, right? And why does he think it's going to take a year longer? It's going to take that long before what I call the germophobic economy is slowly killed off and replaced by the claustrophobia economy. That's when people want to get out and go to dinner and have their lives and go to festivals and shows. It's my instinct that it's going to take a while because super spreader events, sports, shows, festivals, etc., aren't going to do well when the virus is this present. Everything there says common sense. He thinks there's probably 20 roadblocks preventing live music from returning nationally because the obvious of the virus, spacing and density. He points out that a huge hurdle will also be insurance and liability. With COVID, there's infinite liability, adding that it will add incredible risk for promoters to put on shows and even finding a willing insurer. Currently, no insurance company offers COVID insurance. Geiger notes that some of the larger promoters can likely self-insure, but for independent promoters, they will have to wait longer. Geiger stresses that this will be economically devastating and there will be casualties. There's a lot of inside baseball conversation about leading and who Geiger thinks will survive. Geiger pulls no punches and believes the next 6 months may be more painful than the last 6 months, and maybe the next 6 months after that are even more so. This is the type of issue an organization like the National Independent Venue Association is trying to warn about, noting that 90% of the independent venues in this country will not make it without federal assistance. And there's been no relief packages set up for arts and entertainment venues in the United States. Conversely, the United Kingdom recently passed a $1.57 billion relief package last month, and the German government offered $150 million worth of grants to arts and entertainment and businesses. So there you go. That's scary, okay? I mean, no concerts till 2020. All those people that used to tell me, you go to too many concerts. You've been to too many. I bet you now they're saying, damn, I wish I was like, and went to all those concerts, because now I can sit back and have tons of memories of all the concerts I've been to, instead of sitting back going, damn, I wish I'd seen this person, that person. I never went and you may never see him again now. Because if you have to wait another year and a half to go to a concert, I hate to say it, but people are going to pass away. And you're going to miss out on, like I saw Tom Petty, 4 months later, he passed away. I saw Lenny Kilmister and Motorhead, 2 weeks later, he passed away. You know, you just never know. And can you imagine the next year and a half, we're going to lose some artists. We just lost Bowie. I mean, we just lost Prince. We've lost some Glenn Frey. We've lost some monsters in the last couple years. In the next year and a half, I hate to say it, we're going to lose some other ones. Sucks, man. Sucks to hear that kind of news. That concert's not coming back till 2022. That's crazy right there. Feds need to bail out all businesses that had to remain closed due to COVID. They did it to banks, airlines, big business many times. Honestly, Big O, I have a baby girl turning 2 in October. We all love Disneyland. I don't think we will be taking her there till she's 4 now. I'm scared crapless from Rona. You should be, dude. You should be. Plus, Disney's not going anywhere. So if you have to wait a year or two, and guess what? At 2, your kid's not going to enjoy it more than at 4. At 2, she won't remember squat anyways. Okay? I took my daughter I think we've taken my daughter to Disney probably 40 times in her existence. And the first time we took her, she was like 2 years old. She doesn't remember any of that. No kid remembers anything at 2. 4, 5, you might start remembering something years later. Maybe. You know what I mean? At 2, they're afraid of everything anyway, so you're doing them a favor. At 2, they're afraid of Mickey and Minnie and Goofy and everybody. They say, so it's my daughter was actually fearless. She wasn't scared of any of them. In fact, I remember she was like 2 years and 7 months, and we were at Epcot. And no, it was Animal Kingdom. And they have, this parade that goes through, and they have these tall things that are on like stilts. I don't know what they are. I forgot what kind of funky thing they are. And we were on on the front row of it, watching the parade. And that thing that's like, 15 feet tall, bent over and reached out its long arm and long finger, and then the index finger got really close to my daughter. And my daughter put out her hand and touched the fake hand, whatever it is. Okay? And we were like, wow, she's not scared, So, but it's just one of those things. But to tell you, your kid probably won't even really, they definitely won't remember anything. So really, you're better off waiting till 4 or 5, doing you a favor and saving you some money. And also saving you the chance of getting COVID. So good job by you, Joseph Rodriguez. Nice job, sir. Let's see. Rosendo says, sounds like we're going to have a lot of drive-through concerts. Oh, man. When are we getting a drive-through concert, Rosendo? I mean, Tom Garfinkel, baby. Come on, dude. You've got the facility. Please, drive-through concert. I would love a drive-through concert. That is so freaking cool. Allows you to stay spaced, and you get to go to the show. I love it. Oh, by the way, Trumpies, you have to park spaced out to go to that concert. Okay? Just want you guys to know you can't bum rush the stage or any of that. Okay? There are rules. I know, I get it. You non-mask wearers, you don't like to follow rules, right? I get it. Because, it takes away your rights. Lemmy from Motorhead It's all about the game and how you play it. Little wrestling reference. I love Lemmy. He is a character. Big O, will you be allowed at Dolphin practices this season? Whom will be battling positions in our starting O-line? I will not be allowed, and I don't think any media member is allowed inside. I don't think so. Okay? And I got to tell you something. I have no interest in going. All right? I don't want. Why am I going to be there with a bunch of other media members? No, I don't want to do that. So I've avoided crowds. That's kind of that's why I think Bill and I, knock on wood, I guess, because this is for Micah. We've avoided it because we've avoided crowds. You go to crowds, bro? No? You're not going to go to the Ozarks and hang out with 500 people in a pool?
I do this. I go home and I go through a drive-through.
You can't protest without a mask?
I would have loved to, but
without a mask.
Nope. You can't even go with the mask.
Yeah.
With the full Kevlar suit, I wouldn't go down.
Yeah, right. So you're not going to go see and hang out with Trump without a mask?
I wouldn't go see Trump if you paid me.
I know that, but without a mask, come on. That's the challenge.
Well, you have to.
Right.
If you go see Trump, you can't. You're not allowed to wear a mask.
Oh yeah, it takes away your rights. That's kind of what it is. Those of us that stay away from crowds, we have a better chance of staying away from this crap. You know what I mean? And that's our only choice, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. You know? Big O, Super V says, Big O, I have confidence in Coach Flo and Greer because they have players now that fit their scheme. So I'm sure they have a good idea who will be doing what on the field. You know, Super V, you might be right, but what you can't predict, my brother, is young players to the NFL. You can't predict that. You can say he has a skill set, but does he have the intelligence, the comprehension, the consistency? Can his body stay healthy? Can he adjust to the physicality of the game and the speed? You're projecting everything, and it's only human error that you'd fail several times doing that. Because you got to remember, Super V, it's not easy to say, well, this will translate guaranteed to this. It just doesn't happen. It's really, really difficult. So it's not as easy as you make it seem. I have total confidence in Coach Flo and Greer and everything that they're doing right now. But I also have to be objective and say what they're doing is really challenging right now because they're not really getting a good feel. Think about this. For the last 4 months, you would have had these players doing all kinds of mini camps and then classroom sessions, right? And so now you're getting all the mental reps and you're finding out how smart a guy is. How many times does he make the mistake? How many times does it take for him to learn it? Does he learn it right away? Does he never learn it? And those are the little things that you don't know until you get to training camp. Now, but if you had them all off season, you'd have gone, hey, remember, John over here, it takes him a couple times to get it going. Oh, no, but we got no problem here because Fred gets it right away. And these are things that you don't know until you have them in your huddle, until you have them in your classroom, until you know that they show up every day on time, or sometimes a couple guys are dragging ass and they're always 5 minutes late or whatever. Then you start to find out because every day is a beautiful thing. You really find out about people if they can perform every day. And if, the first week they're all gung-ho and all that, and then the second week it's a grind, and the third week and the fourth, and they kind of lose interest. You don't know about those things until you get them in your building, Super V. So these things that they've got to accomplish now are going to be a lot harder without a true assessment of what you have in this player. And now you have to find out in a really short window, and you can't. You don't even find out in a whole year. Takes you a little while, man, to figure it all out. Let's see. DX was the blank. Attitude Era Raw is War on Mondays was the best. Now it's caca. Okay, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Jean-Luc. Is that that sounds like wrestling. So it's a cacayud. Okay. All right. It is. Is Coach Flo calling the defense this season? No, he has a defensive coordinator. It's his defense, but he has a defensive coordinator calling the plays. Okay? He's the head coach. He has delegated the responsibility to two other guys. Now, it's his defense, but I don't think he's calling the defensive plays. I think their coordinator does that. I think that's how it'll turn out. Okay? But right now, I'm more worried about the talent than I am the calling of the play. I'm not worried about that. I saw what they can do without any talent, and they got better and better as the year went on. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's do this. Let's take a quick break since we're right at the bottom of the hour. If you want to get in, what's it called? 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. I got a bunch of things that I want to talk about when we come back. I want to get into a little Heat talk. I got an interesting comment that I want to play for you guys. I got a bunch of music stuff that I also want to mention. I got some NFL news that I want to go over. A battle between a sports figure and another person. Somebody that's really crazy is in the news again. Let's see. What else do we have? Some other NFL news also I want to get back to. So I got a bunch of things to talk about as expected since yesterday was a little short. Today, well, we got plenty to talk about. Let's take a break. Back with more right here on The Big O Show.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021. At Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
All right, we back. He says, Big O, thanks for the insight on the Finns, but on a different note, do you see all the heckling that Governor DeSantis has endured because of his loyalty to Trump? Well, I mean, you know, you're dead wrong on this whole thing. Everybody with no masks and all that, and everything spreads, and it's just pure ignorance. That's all. They're the ones that, and look, notice how Arizona, Texas, and Florida are the 3 worst states, and California, okay? And 3 of them are Republican, 1 is Democrat. Why? Because they were all irresponsible in opening up too soon, okay? California gave in to the greed and the money, and the other 3 were tied to politics, and they've all screwed the country.
Don't leave Georgia out.
And yeah, right, and Georgia's another clown show. You know? I mean, you got a governor suing the mayor over the mask. I mean, come on, dude. It's just stupidity. It really is. It's ignorance. And that's our real problem now, is that people just, they don't get it, man. They don't get it. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. Let me get into a little heat talk. I saw an exchange yesterday with Kendrick Perkins and company. They had two other guys there on the round table, and Kendrick Perkins is boastful about the Miami Heat's chances. And I've heard this a couple times from people, and I understand where they're coming from when you talk about, being able to believe in the Miami Heat when they start the playoffs. Okay, but let me get into the real nuts and bolts about all of this, because you know me, I like being brutally honest, and also, listen, I'm a fan, but I don't like to just spew the fluff. I like to look at the facts, okay, and the reality. Maybe not the facts, but the reality of all of this. Kendrick Perkins. Let's hear from Kendrick Perkins. He was on Get Up, Jump, whatever the hell it was on ESPN, and they were talking about the Heat's chances. Go ahead, Bill.
Don't be surprised, because anything could happen in this bubble. So I'm not counting this Miami Heat team out to at least come out of the East. Don't be surprised.
But I'm saying to you, at some point in time, when I look at you and I say, here's the ball, we got everything around you, but it's about you. It don't matter what I put you up against. When it comes down to you and somebody else, you gonna be in that mix. I'm saying that the Greek Freak and others is just a different level. It's not that I'm not taking anything away from Jimmy Butler.
I would disagree with you there. I would disagree with you there. Like, I feel more confident at the final plays of the game. If I'm giving the ball to one person, I feel more confident in Jimmy Butler than I do the Greek Freak. I think the rest of the games, obviously, Giannis is a better
play.
Obviously, Giannis is a better player. I thought that's what you were saying. I thought you were saying we give you the ball. We give you the ball in crunch time, and you got to make it happen. Like, I feel confident.
Take me to the promised land.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
But right now,
I'm not talking about up bucket, because I pick a lot of people over Giannis. I pick a lot of people over Giannis for a bucket. I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, KP. I'm talking about it's the fourth quarter. We got 12 minutes.
No.
Everybody around us doing it. It's you.
But what I'm saying, Stephen A, is that let's not act like Jimmy Butler is not capable of erupting for a big fourth quarter and going for 15 or 20 and putting the team on his shoulders. Like, that's all I'm saying. And down here in the bubble, anything is possible. And before the pandemic, when I watched that last game when the Miami Heat faced the Milwaukee Bucks, they straight up annihilated them. They got multiple bodies that they could throw at Giannis. They're a deep team, well coached by Eric Spoelstra. And I don't want to face that grimy out team with all those guys that down there, they got it out the mud.
All right, so let's step into reality. First of all, I'm not sure where they're getting that Jimmy's a better offensive player than Giannis. That was the third guy talking. He's the football guy. I forgot his name now.
Duckworth.
No, that's Kevin Duckworth. No, bro, he's not. Wasn't there? Kevin Duckworth. It's a little guy with the mustache. The guy on the right. It's Stephen A. It's Kendrick Perkins. The other guy, I don't know what his name is. He's the football guy. I forgot, but it's not Duckworth. It's something else. If I got to get his name, but anyway, let me
Fox something Worth, right?
Oh, Dominique Foxworth.
He played secondary for Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, the football guy.
Okay, sorry, I said Duckworth. It's Foxworth.
There we go. Okay, because I'm thinking Kevin Duckworth. So anyway, Foxworthy. That's what it is. Foxworthy, is it? Is it Foxworth? Dominique Foxworth. Yeah, it is. Dominique Foxworth. So anyway, listen to this, okay? Jimmy Butler is shooting 45% from the field, and he shoots from three-point range. He shoots 24%. Okay? Giannis Antetokounmpo is shooting right now 54% from the field, and he's shooting 30% from three-point range. So he's already a better shooter. So I don't know what Dominique Foxworth is talking about, because I guess he wasn't following it, but Giannis's shot was actually better this year. He's worked on it, and it was actually looking better, which people were like kind of getting scared of that. Then here's the other thing that I keep hearing from people about the Heat. Dude, I love the Heat, and I think maybe they can advance one round. I think Kendrick Perkins is smoking the fattest joint in the world, thinking that the Heat could get out of the East. That's stupid, okay? Let me explain why. And he's the ex-player. But let me explain to most people out there that maybe, I don't know, they lose sight of basketball. But in basketball, veterans advance, okay? Experience is the one that advances. The Miami Heat, you know what I love when people say, well, the Miami Heat are one of the most conditioned teams. They're a tough team. They're always going to be a tough nut to crack, and they've got that reputation. Yeah, the franchise has that reputation. These players have not earned that reputation. They're not those guys yet. Mike Miller has, what's it called? Mike Miller. Tyler Hero has not shown us anything yet. Nothing. Duncan has not shown us anything whatsoever. Kendrick Nunn has shown us nothing whatsoever. They've never been in a playoff situation. So, yes, I know Jimmy Butler has, but everybody else hasn't. So why would I feel that these guys are going to be some kind of an impact in the playoffs when they've never done it before? And when I hear people talk about the Heat, they're talking about the Heat's reputation. Okay? That's what they're talking about. They're not talking about the track record of these players, because they have none. Bam Adebayo has no track record in the playoffs. He's not known for carrying any team. Kendrick Nunn has no track record in the playoffs. Neither does Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero or anybody on this team, pretty much, except for Jimmy Butler. Okay? Yeah, and I know they have the old man that they traded for Memphis, but please, give me a break already at this point. That's not the guy you're not going to worry. You're not going to be carried by him at this point. So that's where, and fans, I think a lot of Heat fans, they kind of buy into this, and then they don't think about it. Hey, wait a minute. Yeah, you're right. The Heat have got a great reputation, but it's the Heat, not these players, and they don't separate the two. And neither does Kendrick Perkins, because how many young teams get out of the East and go to the finals? Zero, pretty much. You have to be like the Magic with Shaq and Penny and Nick Anderson and all those kind of cats, that it was a whole bunch of young guys that were super, super talented. And two of them were number one picks overall. Okay. And Nick Anderson was an extremely high pick and was a hell of a player until those missed free throws. Which, by the way, still to this day, wow. Nick Anderson misses free throws, and his career went to crap. It's truly amazing. But it's rare. It doesn't happen. And by the way, they got to the finals, and they got thoroughly embarrassed. Why? Because they're young, and they were super talented. Okay? Super talented at that point. And yet they got embarrassed thoroughly in the playoffs, in the finals. 4-1, I think it was, that series. Come on, man. Let's be objective about this. I love the Heat, man. Maybe a round. That's all I give them. And it's funny because you also seem to forget that they were a 500 team for about 35 games to end the season. Before COVID stopped it, they weren't an impressive team. It wasn't the 24-8 team. They were a completely different team than that point. So they no longer are going to surprise anybody. Everybody knows who they are now. and they'll be prepared. You know what I mean? So it's nice in theory that you would do that and say that, but the real, if you really look at it, it's going to be tough for the Heat to overcome this. Okay? Maybe a round, and that's it. But if they even get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I would be pleasantly shocked. I still would be like pinching myself, like, no, this is not happening. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to believe that, but that's the way it is. Now, in this whole tournament that they've got going on, Charles Barkley, I got to give him some love because he had a funny line about this tournament. And, you know, I was talking about a young Heat team that I don't think they can make a deep run because they're too young. Listen to Charles Barkley talk about this tournament.
If everybody's healthy, I think it will be elevated because they're going through a lot of crap in a tough situation. But listen, if everybody's sick with the virus and the Sacramento Kings and the New York Knicks win the championship, you damn right it's tainted. If everybody's healthy, they should get a chip and a half. But if we end up with the Knicks against the Suns and the Sacramento Kings and they win the championship, and because everybody was sick, yes, it's tainted.
He's right. It won't happen. You know what I mean? The Sacramento Kings aren't going to win this thing. There's no chance that they win it. You know, what can I tell you? But I just find it funny that Kendrick Perkins, and listen, Kendrick, he sounds cool. He's got a cool look out there with the big old beard. He's got that twang in his voice, right? And he's willing to say what he wants, but he does have some hot takes that are, you know, out in left field. And I got to, as much as I love the Heat and I'm rooting for them and all that good stuff, I can't agree with them on there. I don't think they're going to go anywhere. You know, maybe a round. That's about it. This is an experience for them is what it is. Nothing more. That's all. An experience. So they can grow from this. And I think then the following year, that's when you start to see a deeper run because of the experience. That's what I think will end up happening. I was thinking about this, man. If this thing drags on into next year, do you go to bubble again if you're the NBA? Because, when it is successful, because it's successful right now, okay, you have no positive test. If guys are getting along and the atmosphere is good and all of that, and then the corona thing continues because people, keep spreading it, then the NBA says, well, we can start the season again, but we've got to start it in a bubble. And maybe that the good experience from all of this may push them to go to another bubble again so they can all make money and get it done.
One very simple answer for that. TV money will dictate. Everybody bubbles.
Right. I don't know about everybody because football is, they're kind of hard-headed, but but at least
they'll figure out like maybe the hotel
32
thing.
bubbles. The 32 bubbles.
Everybody will do whatever they have to do to facilitate a full season so we get our TV money.
You know what? Let me piggyback on your point that I think it's a good one. You just have to go a little farther. The success of the NBA, and if the COVID thing continues, then they push for the bubble again. And then if everybody enjoyed the experience and all that, they do it again. The failures of the NFL, because they get COVID ravaged all over, and they lose out on the rest of the season, they lose out on a bunch of money, then they say, hey, if we're going to come back, it's 32 bubbles or not. Now players have now lost out on all kinds of money. Now they're going to say, bubble me up, baby. Bubble it up. I want Bubblicious gum too. All of that. Okay? So that's what's going to lead to everybody bubbling.
And that's almost like it's forcing your hand. You don't have a choice because of where you're at.
What, dude? You chose to be you chose to be an athlete, right? Well, this is the only way you can make your money and play the game in a bubble. And that's probably what's let me tell you, I would not be surprised that the success of the NBA and the NHL in a bubble, and if COVID continues to run rampant into the winter, which I hope not, man, then they say, hey, we gotta come back, but we gotta come back in a bubble. And then everybody says, hey, we had a great experience. Hockey guys are different. I could see them going in the bubble because
Yeah, but hockey has they've got two different cities.
Right.
They have a different blueprint. They could be a model blueprint for. You don't have to put everybody in one place.
No, I know that.
You know
I
what I'm
get it.
saying?
I get it.
Like
I get it.
Little scenarios.
Yeah, several bubbles. I get it. You maybe you put it regionally, the bubbles. I get all that, but my point is that if you do have success with it, and then you have the failure on the other end, then everybody meets in the middle and say, hey, you know what? This thing is still all over. We gotta bubble up. Which, man, can you imagine? We got to go through all the way through the holidays with a bubble. I mean, with COVID and all. Oh, God, I hope not, man. I really don't.
How do you go? Because you know how it is for Thanksgiving, going to the store to get all the food. Shopping. Christmas shopping, man.
Yeah.
With COVID.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, online. It's all online for me. Screw that. I'm not going to no mall. No way. Not at all. Not at all. So that's crazy. Let's see. With the lack of practice and rust on all teams, the Heat has a nice little advantage because they play some D. Are they the only ones that play D? And how did that D work out in the last 30-something games? They weren't very good. I'm not sure what. Again, that's selective memory. They weren't a good team when they finished.
What is it after the first 24?
32 because they were 24-8.
Okay,
just do the math.
Okay. So
just
66% winning.
Yeah, do the math. Look, what's their record? Take 24-8 out, and you'll see what they were after that. Tell me what it is.
I know that they were like 500 or a game over.
Yeah, barely over. They were over 500, but by a game or two is what it was. Yeah. All you got to do is look at their record and minus 24-8 from it, and you'll see where they were overall. Here, I'll look it up here myself. I'll tell you right now. The Miami Heat, 24-8. They're 41-24. Okay? So that means they were 17-16. After 24-8, they were one game above 500. Didn't I tell you there were one or two games above 500? 17-16 team. I'm just wondering what team are you guys remembering out there? Well, where's the selective memory here? Oh, I'm sorry. They're going to get Tyler and Myers Leonard back. So that will then make them a 24-8 team again. Come on. Let's go. Let's put the weed down, put the drink down. It's probably drinking. It's probably alcohol. Because not even pot will make you think that. 17-16. That's not a good team. I'm not sure. Is 17-16 good, Bill? I'm just wondering. Is that good?
You'll be lucky to be number 8 seed, yes, and get smacked around by the first seed in the first round of the playoffs.
So you were a mediocre team through the heart of the season, and then you were a really good team at the beginning when nobody was ready. You know what I mean? It's just, I just have a hard time believing that. And they're all already practicing. They're all in shape now, and they'll all be playing an exhibition game. Everybody's even level playing field. And I would love to think that the Heat are going to make a deep run into the Eastern Conference Finals. One round, that's all I give them. No more than that. I don't think they can accomplish more than that. Now, flip side, okay? The Panthers, they're about to start, I told you at the beginning of the show, the Panthers on the 29th, on Wednesday, will play the exhibition game against the Lightning at noon, and then on August 1st, they will start their series against the Islanders. I saw where the coach felt like he had the best practice the other day of one of the best practices of the season. None of that means anything to me. And this team has been a mediocre team for a long, long time. And I've said this over and over and over again. And I know most people some people may think I'm crazy. Others may think, Oh, he's got the balls to say something that most people won't say. And it's true, okay? Barkov is not a number one player. If Barkov is your lead player, you're in trouble. Okay? He's a great player. I love him. I love him as a two-way player, but he's a number 2 on the team. You need somebody that's a scorer that's better than Barkov. You need a better player than Barkov leading this team. He's too passive. Barkov probably has it in him to become a great goal scorer, but he refuses to. He just doesn't have that DNA. He doesn't have dog in him. You know what I mean? He is a guy that's super talented and scores and is an awesome player, an awesome human being, but he's not the guy that gets pissed off and says, I'm taking over. He's not the guy that says, enough is enough, I'm busting through the lines and I'm scoring. You know, he's just not that guy. And so that's what they need. They need that guy. And that's what they're lacking. And that's what Dale Talon can't find so far. So when you tell me that, oh, you had a great practice, none of this means anything. It just doesn't. And you have to keep looking at the track record now for 10 years. They have fallen short immensely. And it's all due to one guy, and that's Dale Talon. It's time, bro. You got to part ways with Dale Talon. And I don't think they will this offseason because of COVID and all the losses and all that. And they'll probably hang on to him another year, but whatever, man. Eventually, Vinny Viola and Doug Seifert are going to have to make the decision. It's, hey, listen, Stephen Ross inherited Parcells. So it's not the first time that somebody inherits somebody that had a great reputation and then they're not getting the job done. And you had to get rid of the tuna because he wasn't getting the job done. And this guy, 2 playoff appearances in 10 years, and I don't think they get past the Islanders, which getting past the Islanders doesn't even put you – you're not in the playoffs by getting past the Islanders. That's like a play-in game, a play-in series to get into the real tournament. Then you're in the playoffs. Because they weren't a playoff team in the first place. They weren't in the top 16. And let me tell you something. In basketball and in hockey, if you can't be in the top 16, you're pathetic. And I hate to say it, but Dale Talon has been pathetic here. That's all.
There is one thing that has improved.
What's that?
His golf game.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's a good point. He's probably a handicapper there. He's probably shooting like 62 now in every course.
Oh, I was just gonna give him scratch. Par 72.
Right. Yeah,
you got him like being a professional golfer.
5. That's 786. 5. That's 786. 322. 1105. If you want to get in on the program on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. All right, it is the 1 o'clock hour. It's the top of the hour. Let's take a quick break. Don't forget, Toyota of Hollywood is a proud sponsor. Go see Herbie Lopez. One of our listeners went to see Herbie Lopez. He purchased a car on Saturday. And I appreciate the listener for mentioning it to Herbie. And Herbie sent me a text right away. He goes, hey, I got one of your listeners here purchasing a car. So I appreciate all of you out there that if you are looking for a vehicle, Toyota of Hollywood, I wouldn't tell you to go somewhere where I wouldn't buy or lease a car myself. I drive a Camry XSE proudly every single day. I love my Camry XSE. Take care of it like a baby. It's one of those things that I cherish every single day. Love driving it. And you will too if you want to choose to drive a Toyota, folks. Go to 1841 North State Road 7. Go see Herbie Lopez. Go see the lovely Lori Rodriguez, Joel Rubio, Asterisk Smith. Go see Gary Thompson. Steve Ostrov, of course, is the man cracking the whip and making sure you have a great experience out there. Over 1,500 cars and trucks to choose from, over 400,000 square feet. So it is a ginormous place. So if you need a Corolla, you need a Camry, you need a Tundra, you're going to have a ton State Road 7, and tell them that Big O sent you. Please tell them at Toyota of Hollywood.
Expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
So you want to see how life is screwed up when screwed up people, you know, you got to cover them and it's just like totally twisted, right? And yesterday, one of the subjects I was going to talk about, because I found on Saturday. Now, get ready for this, okay? Antonio Brown ain't on a roster yet, but his personal QB tells TMZ Sports the All-Pro is ramping up his workouts in anticipation of signing soon. Peter Zamora, the 17-year-old high school quarterback who's been Brown's throwing partner this summer, says he's noticed a huge uptick in AB's training demeanor recently. Okay? He says he requested more throwing sessions in the last few days and weeks that this NFL camps are set to kick off by the end of the month. In clips the duo's workout Wednesday, you can see Brown in full pads getting after, running intense routes with purpose. Okay? He's in excellent shape. This is Saturday. Now, I was going to tell you yesterday that this is hilarious. This is a guy that has no shot at returning to football this year under the conditions that they're at. They're worried more about just getting a season off. Do you think they want to actually bring a clown like this on their team so they have to deal with this? No, of course they don't want to do that. Why would they want to do that? Why would you want to bring Antonio Brown? Okay, so his crazy ass is doing that. So now, what comes out yesterday? Antonio Brown now has announced his retirement again. So Saturday, the report comes out that he was ramping up his workouts, wearing pads and everything. I mean, seriously, you're running around in pads. You're practicing hard, dude. Okay? Now, this shows you que este tipo está loco, pero completamente loco. All right? In other words, this shows you this guy is batshit crazy. All the way crazy. And yet, maybe not this year, but some clown will want to sign him next game. At this point, the risk is greater than the reward. Thank you, everyone who's been a part of this journey. And I sincerely thank you for everything. Life goes on. 84. I came, I saw, I conquered, mission complete, call God. Okay? So, normal people don't do these kind of things. You don't do this, and he has retired and unretired about, 3 or 4 times now? And maybe he's also retiring because somebody behind the scenes, like, I don't know, does he have an agent? Actually, I know his agent, and I feel bad for him. Maybe his agent's like, there's nobody out there that wants you. And right now, why would anybody want him? So instead of saying nobody wants me, because that's not a good look, he instead is going to retire.
Discard them before they discard you.
Exactly. That's it. So now I'll retire so people don't find out that nobody's interested in my crazy ass. So he goes from practicing with pads, okay, and now he goes to, I'm retiring. And then he added even more to it in his Twitter tirade. He then puts out an album. It's called Himothy. And so he apparently has a rap album out. You know how this story ends. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but this one ends where he's broke and he needs the money badly. And so he's going to try to come back a couple of years from now because this is a guy that can't earn money any other way. And nobody really wants to be associated with him. The only thing they will somewhat tolerate is him catching a couple passes because he's really good at that. But at this point, Antonio Brown goes from working out hard to retiring, and now I've put out a rap album. Crazy, dude. Just crazy people. That's all it is.
Where's Deion Sanders? That's his mentor.
Oh, yeah, no. Can't wait for the new AB. Can't wait for everybody to see the new AB. Yeah, where is Deion? Huh? How's Deion doing right now, huh? With that one. Oh, God. It's funny, man. It's funny.
I can see him in his backyard. Damn that guy. Man, sucker me. I look like a fool.
It's so silly. There was a listener yesterday on Twitter, or was it this morning? I think it was this morning, actually. This morning on Twitter, a guy goes, well, we should sign Cam Wake and bring him in to wrap up his career, right? And you guys know, if you follow the show, a while back, I was like, hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind bringing Cam Wake back, but this was before COVID. And then remember when they signed Kyle Van Noy, what did I tell you? It's over. You can't bring Cam anymore because they have moved on. They've changed the defense. Cam doesn't play that defense. He doesn't know the defense. Kyle Van Noy becomes Cam now, and he becomes the guy that knows the defense and then can lead the youngins along the way. So the plan is in place already. Cam is out of the picture. And I love Cam Wake too, man. Every Dolphin fan should love Cam Wake. But I wanted to mess with the guy a little bit, and I said, yeah, sure, let's bring Cam down so he can catch COVID on the way out because he is the next contestant on the COVID challenge instead of The Price is Right. You know, it's just so silly. Sometimes fans, they don't really want to look at what's going on right now. And here's a guy that you would have to use him very little in this scheme because he's not a coverage guy. At this age, you can't make him a coverage guy. He's simply a pass rusher. So he's really a two-down player, maybe at most. And they need people that can play as many downs as possible, and they need people that have some experience and understand and can play in this offense. He can't. So people don't look at that. And then the guy didn't want to even look at COVID. And, you know, to me, this kind of rolls over because that would be a dumb move. And this also becomes the insensitive side of us fans and even some media members to a certain extent. Because people want football back no matter what. And that's a great example there. Here's a guy that wanted Cam Wake back, but he doesn't care if Cam Wake ends up getting COVID because he doesn't give a shit. Doesn't care. And those of you that want football back and you know it's not safe, people are catching COVID out on the street because they hit the same elevator button that somebody that had COVID did. People are getting COVID because they're breathing the air inside some kind of a bar or whatever, and they get it. And yet football is the contact sport that for sure is perfect for the virus. Guys are breathing on each other at the line of scrimmage. They're running into each other on drills, on games, whatever. Quarterbacks are getting sacked by linemen. And you think these people aren't going to breathe on each other and all that just to screw around with each other mentally? They will. They will. I've told you already, in these piles, they shove fingers in every. Yeah. So what do you think they're going to do now? It's going to get ugly. But it's funny because it's like I've said, and I've compared football for many years to the Roman gladiators. And back then, you saw the gladiator die in the arena. Now we don't. Now we don't see them die behind the scenes and fade away or shrivel up because they're dying with dementia and Alzheimer's and all that stuff, and we're not around and we don't care. Nobody gives a crap about Earl Campbell. Boy, you loved him when he was with the Oilers. You love watching him truck people. Now that he can't walk and he's got to be in a wheelchair, nobody cares about Earl Campbell. Nobody mentions him. We only cared about Earl Campbell when he was playing on that concrete carpet in Houston. That's it. And then he's gone. Nobody cares if Cam Wake gets the COVID. Nobody cares if these players, they come back and they get something that will last them forever. Russell Wilson's wife is pregnant. Why should he play when he's not in a bubble? Because somebody on the Seahawks or an opponent is going to give him COVID, and it's going to risk him taking it to his wife. But again, nobody cares. Just entertain me. Get on the field and do what you do. That's the way I like it. What the consequences are, it be damned. Don't care. That's the attitude we get. And that's where we do not actually think in a decent manner. Let's just put it that way. All right, 786-322 chat on the chat board here on YouTube, on the Twitter page at Big O Show, everywhere. It is open and ready for you all. All right, I got a couple of music notes, a funny one here. Tony Iommi. All right, listen to this story, Bill. So Tony Iommi and Black Sabbath had a reunion for the 85 Live Aid concert. You remember that when they got back together, right? Iommi, by the way, has not put off that down the line in 2021 or 2022, if there can be one Black Sabbath performance again, he wouldn't mind doing it. You know that would force us to like fly to wherever it's at. Probably be in Birmingham, right? England. Isn't that where they're from?
Trying to think of where their last concert was.
Iommi is a Birmingham guy, so I want to say that they're gonna do it in England.
Oh,
it'll London or
No doubt.
Hammersmith
Yes.
Odeon, or it'll be it'll be somewhere like that, right? You would imagine.
Yeah, and it would be
Not gonna be L.A. or New York.
nowhere
Well, we know
near.
it's not gonna be here.
No.
You know what I mean? So that means we might be forced to go. But that's good news, okay? That's just a little side note. So they get together in 85, all right? Ozzy, Geezer Butler, everybody, Iommi and company. So they are practicing, okay? So they're having some rehearsals. So Iommi was having the rehearsals and was they had the 86th album 7 Star. From at that moment, he was the only remaining member left of Black Sabbath. But for Live Aid, they did a reunion. So it was a bit of a disaster, he says, to be honest. They had a room booked for us to rehearse. We started rehearsing. Then we started talking about the old times. So most of the rehearsal was talking. Continuing, the Riff Lord says, all the time when we did rehearsal, it was a closed session. It would be embarrassing because really, I saw these 2 girls come in the back of the room, and I said to one of our crew, hey, look, there's people walking in, you better tell them to get out. There's a private rehearsal. One of the girls was the Material Girl, Madonna. So the pop star, who was high off her 84 album, Like a Virgin, despite her celebrity status, Iommi remained clueless as to who he just kicked out of the rehearsal room. Finishing off the story, the Sabbath legend says, anyway, he goes up and tells them, and it turns out to be Madonna, so it's a bit embarrassing. But anyway, we had the rehearsal, and then we went back to the hotel. So I don't know if those 2 ever talked again, but can you imagine, like, Madonna's on a high, and she's on top of the world at that moment because Like a Virgin is all over MTV. She's blowing up, right?
There's only one bigger than me, Michael Jackson.
Yeah, probably. At that moment, yeah. I would say maybe only Michael bigger than her, the way she was exploding. And Tony Iommi is in his heavy metal world that he doesn't care about Papa Don't Preach and Like a Virgin and all that other stuff. He doesn't give a rat's ass about that. Okay, although Papa Don't Preach, is it from that album or is that from La Isla Bonita? And that it's the 3rd album, right? Whatever. Anyway, so you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm embarrassed, right? I know my Madonna albums. So it's just funny that a guy like that would see Madonna and kick her out from. And then the flip side of it is Madonna's in a Black Sabbath rehearsal. Now, you hear, Ozzy and everybody else is in there. Okay, well, you want to see what the hell's going on, right? So I kind of get that too. If I had the power to be in a rehearsal where Black Sabbath reunited.
Special. It's special.
Yeah, it's super special. So at least maybe she understood that. It's just, I didn't even know the Material Girl liked heavy metal, actually, to be honest with you. But I thought it was a funny story that Tony Iommi would kick out Madonna from a practice, from a rehearsal session. The other thing I saw, a band a lot of you probably have no idea who they are. They are a triplet from Scotland, and they're one of my favorite new bands. They're not that new. They've been around for, I want to say about 15 years easily, maybe 18 years. Biffy Clyro. They've got about 7 albums, and I love them, man. I think they're fantastic. I would travel out of the country to go see them, put it that way. But if you like Biffy Clyro, and if for those of you that maybe you've never heard, look up for Biffy Clyro and Black Chandelier. Okay, that's my favorite song of theirs. All right, listen to Black Chandelier, Wolves of Winter. And then if you want to then, expand and you'll see the videos, you can all do that and check it out. And maybe I turn you on to a band that's not very well known at all in this country. They're actually huge in Europe. Okay? That's the difference there. So Biffy Clyro is going to have a a performance. They're going to have a streaming performance at the iconic Glasgow venue, a one-off live stream next month. Simon Neil, James Johnston, and Ben Johnston, the trio, will mark the release of their upcoming album, A Celebration of Endings, with a worldwide live stream August 15th, the day after the record comes out, the day after I buy the record. We are really excited to launch A Celebration of Endings with such a unique and ambitious live performance from one of our favorite venues. We would love to be playing live shows to our fans across the world, but as this is not possible, we are going to bring the biggest Biffy album launch imaginable direct to your living room. The band are not only set to run through their brand new LP in full, but their show will also feature a different setup in multiple areas in the venue to create a unique and truly special experience that reflects a musical journey, a celebration of endings. Tickets, by the way, are on sale July 24th, and they got the link there, and you can go check it out yourself. August 15th, if you want to check it out, the live stream 1 at 8 o'clock. Live stream 2 will be at 9. Live stream 3 will be on Saturday, August 16th at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then live stream 4 for Australia. Well, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Live stream 1 is for UK and Ireland. Live stream 2 is for Europe. Live stream 3 is North America, Central, and South America. That's mine. That'll be 9 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, August 15th. Live stream 4 will be for Australia, New Zealand, and Asia, and that'll be at, 8 p.m. Eastern. So there you go. That'll be on Sunday, August 16th. So there you go. So if you know anything about Biffy Clyro, you will definitely love this stream. I promise you. They are fantastic. You will definitely enjoy it. Don Dokken. You know that Don Dokken, I think we talked about it. He suffered nerve damage, remember? When he had the brain issue, and when they operated him, the doctor caused damage to his nerves. And, they were talking about him coming out of the hospital and doing therapy, and he was getting a lot better. He just played a concert, okay? And he can sing. But he is telling us now that he can never play guitar again because of the hand and the damage to his hand. Dokken's condition, by the way, did not improve to the extent. It's been 7 months since the surgery. I've gotten my surgery in a couple months before the Metal Hall of Fame, and they said, just be patient. Your hand will come back. You'll get your feeling back. Be patient, but it's been 7 months, and my hand still doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it's the way it is. Sometimes bad things happen, I'm not happy about it, but I played guitar for 50 years, so I guess I got some good times in. Now, he just played a concert over the weekend, and I got to say and he's the only remaining member there's no George Lynch in there or anything like that. And just, I feel bad for the guy. I know he wants to do what he loves, but, wow, rough, man. Rough, I got to tell you. I saw the highlights of it. You can see it there. You can go look for Don Dokken live, and be careful there. Okay, that's all I can tell you. A couple other things. Fish will stream tonight at 8:30. Webcast.livefish.com. Dinner and a movie and an archival video series, like always. They do it every Tuesday. And Bjork is going to stream August 9th at 5 o'clock. Okay? So be on the lookout if you like Bjork. The Iceland artist will be streaming August 9th. And you, sir, are going to like this. Streaming Sunday, August 2nd at 8 p.m. Howard Jones. How about that? I'm looking forward to that, man. I like Howard Jones. That's going to be really, really cool. So there you go. A couple of news and notes for you on the music world. What do we got on the chat board here? Any questions? Any comments? What do we got? Rosenhaus fired him until he gets help. Sorry, I'm smoking, but AB is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay, that's fine. He's also a Hall of Shamer, too. Antonio Brown's going to be at the country fair guessing your weight next year. Yeah, basically. Antonio Brown might be coaching in local high school level. Ugh, God. Who would allow that guy to coach high school? Wake isn't versatile enough for Flores' defensive scheme at this point in his career. Correct? Correctamundo, as they used to say. Mike No-Go Zone says, I saw Black Sabbath on their 7-star tour, my first concert. Nice. I've seen Sabbath, too, a couple times. Clee Torres, Dokken was the most melodic hair metal band. Lynch was mega underrated. Yes, Lynch is a stud. And Don Dokken, I feel bad for him, and he sounds all right. It wasn't, just, That was the kind of thing that I walked away from when I saw the video. It's like, okay, now I know not to go to a Dokken concert. I just I'm gonna kind of stay away from a Dokken concert. That's all I can say. Did you see the battle between Mark Cuban and Ted Cruz?
No, but I did hear about it.
Ted Cruz won. Ted Cruz knocked out Mark Cuban. Totally. Okay, again, I don't play the politics. I don't care about Republicans, and I don't care about Democrats. Don't care about that. I don't play that game, okay? So just in case, because some of you out there, because Cuban's the liberal and Ted Cruz is the Republican, right? So Cuban, by the way, he was taking shots at Ted Cruz, and he goes, I can say Black Lives Matter. I can say there's systemic racism in the country. I can say there's a pandemic that you have done little to end. I can say I care about this country first and last. If you think I won't criticize China and what they do, it concerns American citizens, watch this. But I've never gotten involved in domestic policies or any foreign country. We have too much to do here. Finally, this shot. And why is it, Ted Cruz, that you take such pride in standing up and speaking the truth to the Chinese, but you have no ability to stand up and speak the truth to real Donald Trump? All good, right? But Ted Cruz is the one that said, if you want to complain to your boss, and then why don't they play the national anthem every day before you start work, right? Then Cruz started chiming in, and he started to say to Mark, he says, can your players put that on their jersey? Free Hong Kong. Can you condemn the CCP's concentration camps with 1 million people in it? Can you say anything other than Chairman Mao is beautiful and wise? Let's try simpler, Mark, tough guy. Can you say free Hong Kong? Can you put it on your jerseys? All that stuff, right? And that's where Mark Cuban has to kind of be quiet because he can't slam China. And the NBA obviously has, business with China, and China's obviously not on the up and up. You know what I mean? And that's where, if you're Mark Cuban, I agree with him that, there's a lot of people that haven't done enough to kill the virus. That's all well and good, my man. I got no problem with any of that. He's right. But the NBA's relationship with China is embarrassing. And you're doing it all because of money. It's the only reason. And and while Cruz is not going to go against Trump, and of course, because everybody in that party, they can't go against Trump. They've sold their soul. That's fine. But if you're Mark Cuban, don't go after Cruz when you got the skeletons in your closet, and you won't go after China. And you'll gladly take their money. Even though they could be the ones that spread this virus. They're the ones that obviously we've had some fair, trade market deals with them that now, as much as I'm not an orange-haired guy, he's done the right thing against those people. That government is out, and not against the Chinese people. It's against the Chinese government. We know that. A lot of the people there have no choice. It is what it is. But I thought I got to give Cruz the edge here on that one because the China thing is pretty pathetic, man. Pretty sad for the NBA. And they do nothing about it. Except count de-monnaie, as they say. De-monnaie. That's all they're doing. All right. It is time to wrap it up here on the show. You all out there, as always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting the show. We're sorry again. We apologize for the show yesterday, our technical snafus, and we couldn't get on. We're back tomorrow. We'll be at VSS West Pines. We'll have some fun with the boys out there. If you've got time, come on by to 12397 Pembroke Road and join us out there at VSS West Pines. We'll be out there having some fun. Julius 305. Not sure if you're tuning in now. I don't know. I haven't seen you on the chat board there. I can't say I've noticed everybody. But thank you once again for the collector's item for Mike Schmidt. This is just, I mean, I can't say enough about this, dude. This is just freaking amazing that you did this for me. And you got me my favorite baseball player of all time, man. So I appreciate you getting me the 11-time Gold Glover. A lot of people talk about his 500 and some home runs. They don't talk about the 11 Gold Gloves. Greatest third baseman of all time. Oh, there he is, Julius 305, and he sends in a super chat. Thank you, Julius. Thank you, my brother. There you go. Appreciate you, man. I thanked you at the beginning of the show, and yesterday in the recorded broadcast on the podcast. There's a segment out there also for you. So, but thank you, Julius. That's very, very, very kind, man. Hey, like I said, you almost got me teary-eyed by giving me that. So I appreciate it. Yes, I do enjoy it. And not only do I enjoy it, I'm going to cherish it like I do everything else, like my lunchbox. You know what I mean? Like my Star Wars Darth Vader, obviously always cherish these things. Again, thanks to all out there, Julius 305, Kenneth Cleveland, Ray Grulong, John Rouse in the house, Jesse Minneapolis. I thank all of you out there for tuning in. You guys are absolutely awesome. Everybody that watched, everybody that downloads the audio portion of the show, you guys are absolutely awesome. We will catch you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel, except this time we'll be at VSS West Pines with our mask on.
12 o'clock start tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow's 12 o'clock because we're at VSS West Pines. Thanks to Bill and Philippe handling everything on audio and video. See you all tomorrow. Be good.
Please be safe.
Yes, stay